It's the Mixed Martial Arts Hour with
The Mixed Martial Arts Hour is back in your life on this Wednesday, March 1st, 2023. Hello again, everyone. I sure hope you're doing well. It's great to be here on a lovely Wednesday afternoon in New York City. First snow day yesterday here in New York City. How about that? How was your snow day, Frank?
It was a great snow day.
Did you have somewhere to be? Did you not go to work? What'd you do?
I went to work.
Wow.
Went to a Broadway show.
You went to a Broadway show?
Didn't slip and fall.
Wow.
Proud of myself.
Broadway in New York City?
Yes.
What? Not off-Broadway. You seem more like an off-Broadway guy to me, if I'm being honest. No, like, just because like you're indie. You know, you don't like rock, you like indie rock.
It's a good point.
Yeah. What'd you see?
It's not important.
Why? You're going to be mysterious about that?
Saw Harry Potter and the
Wow. First time?
Second time.
You went to see the same play twice?
It's more for my significant other than for me.
Has she seen it before?
Yeah.
So you both went to see the same play twice?
It was a house night.
What the hell does that mean?
I don't think you're up on your Harry Potter lore. Is this quiet enough, by the way, or should I go lower?
Frank's in rare form today. He's had 8 primes this morning. He's been hoarding them. It's become a bit of a problem, but we're plowing through as they did throughout the streets of New York here. We had a snow day yesterday. As we are getting set for UFC 285, it's a big week. I got to tell you, it's a big week when you're getting texts from people like, hey, is Jon Jones going to win? I'm excited about Jon Jones. It doesn't happen often, but we have those fights from time to time. You know, we have fights almost every few weeks that are big to us. Islam, Alex, Leon, Kamaru, those Izzy, Alex, those fights are big. But then there are certain fights that just kind of break through and people start texting you about them, start asking for your pick, start asking you to come on their mainstream non-MMA radio shows or podcasts. It's a lovely time. It makes us feel like we are loved, wanted, makes us feel like we are in the spotlight. You know, we have inferiority complexes here in the world of mixed martial arts. At least I do. And it's nice to feel that from time to time. So yes, UFC 285 is a mere 3 days away. The long-awaited, much-anticipated return of Johnny Bones Jones. Of course, we shall talk a whole lot about that on this program. And as always, we are presented by our good friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook. We love DraftKings. What a time to sign up. Use the code THEMMAHour. Go to the app, place your bets, get in on all the fun regarding UFC 285 or March Madness coming up or NBA action in full swing. How about them Knicks 6 in a row or NHL, yada, yada, yada. That's the place to go. Please support them because they support us. Now, back into the show, we'll make our picks. Parlay Pals back in full swing regarding UFC 285. So stay tuned for that. Also, can't wait to hear what GC has in store for his picks regarding UFC 285 this weekend as well. Don't forget, they'll be doing a watch party Saturday night. Should be a grand old time. Prior to that, we're going to be joined by Fernand Lopez, the head coach over at MMA Factory in beautiful Paris, France. Head coach for one Ciryl Gane. Head coach in the past for one Francis Ngannou. He's going to be right there on Saturday with his guy Ciryl Gane. Another opportunity for him to become the undisputed champion. Bit different than last year, but still it will be viewed as such. And so we'll talk to him about the week in Vegas, the training camp, all that and more. Prior to that, we're going to be joined for the first time in a very long time. First time in this new era of the MMA Hour since coming over in 2020? 2021? Time is flying. Charles de Bronx, Oliveira, joining us on the program. Very hard guy to get. Has exploded, has become insanely popular, especially in Brazil, but all over the world. And the MMA community loves Charles de Bronx. May 6th, he's going up against Beneil Dariush. More on that with him later in the program. Now, this is the funny thing about today's show. Finally got to book Charles de Bronx. Finally tracked him down. And when I went through his people, they said, all right, can you provide a translator? Now, usually, like Amasov on Monday, it's either the promotion or the guy or the guests themselves who provide the translator. They didn't have a translator to provide to us. I don't know a lot of people who speak Portuguese. Of course, I know the Brazilian beast Guilherme Cruz wouldn't bother him with something like that, although I did, pick his brain about who I could ask. And then I was thinking, you know what? I'm very good friends, pretty much BFF, with Octagon girl Luciana Andrade. Luciana Andrade, yes, legendary Octagon girl from Brazil who speaks Portuguese. So I asked her, hey, do you know anyone who can translate? Not really. How about you? Have you ever translated before? Not really. Well, I think this would be fun. We can have an Octagon girl translating for a former UFC, potentially future UFC champion. Are you in? She's in. And so she's going to join us at the same time to translate the Charles Oliveira interview for us. Prior to that, though, we'll have her on as a guest, shoot the breeze, talk about her life. Fascinating person who is a lot more layered than you may think. So stay tuned for that. That'll be at 3:05. Prior to that, we're going to be joined by a mystery guest. Prior to that, we're going to be joined by a mystery guest. Now I have breaking news for all of you. Frank? The mystery guest is Frank. It just felt right. Thought you all needed to know a little more about his life. Open up the closet. How do you feel about that, Frank? No, it is not Frank. Two guests, TBD. Stay tuned. I see some people trying to guess who the guests are. We'll find out if they are right. Prior to that, we'll be joined by the founder of BKFC, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, Dave Feldman. He's been on the show once before. It was to announce that they were being purchased by Triller, you may recall. Well, he is back with some breaking news. You may have seen that he has been teasing. They have been teasing that they've got some breaking news. Well, he's going to be joining us at around 2 o'clock for that breaking news. There's a lot to discuss. They actually have a show coming up this weekend in London, their third event in London. They are expanding rapidly. They're now sanctioned in more than half the states in the United States, I'm being told. And so we got some things to discuss, and he's got some pretty interesting news to break to all of you. Stay tuned for that at 2 o'clock. But you know how we like to start Wednesdays around these parts. We like to shoot with the best of them. We like to tell it like it is. We like to keep it real. And so without further ado, time now for everyone's favorite segment of the week. It is time.
It's time for a good old-fashioned Q&A, MMA fans.
Yeah. Oh, we're shooting today. What about
Ladies
that
and
JLP on
the
Wednesday?
moment
Huh?
has
No, on
arrived
Monday. He was
to
here on
hear from
Monday.
the man
Wow,
himself,
what an
Beneil
appearance.
You even wrote the show notes for today. You were like, for Monday.
Oh, did I do that?
You got your whole
New
week
York City.
messed up.
It's on the nose.
I'm already
And now, to answer your
looking
questions,
looking
towards,
ahead.
Your
well,
seats
we're going
and on
to
your feet
Miami
because here
that
he
makes
is,
for the big wedding.
Ciryl Gane.
And I got to be honest, with that snow coming down yesterday, I was like, get me to Miami, Frank. Get me to the 305. I'm going to scope it out because, of course, the UFC is going there in April. So I'm just going to make sure that everything's okay, for everyone.
As one does.
Yeah, that's what I like to do. I'm a mensch like that. And speaking of that word, reminds me now of our good friend Rick G. the Prophet, who came out with his single entitled The MMA Hour. Yes. Shower me, Frank. What a mensch, this guy. Anyway, how about that song? And how about the fact, did you see this tweet from Rick G. the Prophet? Rick G. the Prophet, I asked him, he said, you guys help me out. I'm stuck in my office for 10 hours, no windows. I listen to you guys every Monday and Wednesday. Thank you. So I asked him, what exactly do you do for a living? Did you see this tweet, Frank?
I actually didn't see that tweet.
I'm a chemical extraction technician. I use chemical solvents like butane to extract using a machine called a closed-loop system. I work in a custom-built room per state law because I use these chemical solvents, thus the no windows, but my real passion is music. Fun fact, I wrote that song in this very room. How about that? A chemical extraction technician. I mean, this guy's he's a freaking genius. He's a freaking genius. Anyway, it's up now. Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you get your songs. Big honor for us that he made that song. All right, let's get to the questions. Cheeto Pancakes up first. What is up, Ariel? He always spells my name differently, this guy. This time it's A-I-R-Y space L, period. Ariel? I guess that's Ariel. Couldn't be more excited about this Saturday's fights, mostly because of just how deep the entire card is. If you had the opportunity to watch one of the main card bouts, just one, excluding the main event, Jones Gane, which fight would you choose and why? Which is the most intriguing and most must-watch of the bunch? Of course, the other 4 fights, excluding the main event, Jon Jones, Ciryl Gane, Shevchenko Grasso, Gamrot Turner, Neil Rachmanov, Nickel Pickett. I got to tell you something, and please, for the love of God, clip this off. This is such a good card. This is an amazing card. This is one of my favorite cards in a very long time. More often than not, we are getting good pay-per-views. And, more often than not, there's 1, 2, 3 good fights at the top. That was the case, I would say, back in December. That was the case. Well, the December one got hurt with the Yuri injury. But, November, the January card, even the Australia pay-per-view back in February. This one, you can make a case for the top 10 fights on this card, starting with the Ian Gary fight all the way up, and Ian Gary's on the early prelims, all the way up to the main event. Every single fight of the 10, every single fight has a purpose, has a storyline attached to it. Every single fight has meaning, has something that is intriguing about it. And that's not often the case. Let me read them to you. Ian Gary, Keenan Song, Julian Marquez, Marc-André Barriault, Viviane Araújo, Amanda Ribas, Dricus du Plessis, Derek Brunson, Cody Garbrandt, Trevin Jones. And then it's the 5 that I mentioned on the main card. I love this card. I love everything about this card. And so regarding the one question that this man just asked us, if we were to exclude the main and could only watch one fight on the main card, which would it be? I'm going with Bo Nickel versus Mr. Pickett. And the reason for that is Bo Nickel to me is must-see TV. I want to see if he can finish someone in the first round. I want to see just how good he can be. This to me is just a part of the building of Bo Nickel. Like he's probably going to win, and he's probably going to win dominantly. But they've had some hot prospects come in, like an Ian Gary, who haven't had those amazing showings, dominant showings, or even Patty early on. Like he got clipped once, he wins. Let's see if he can continue his pristine, fighting record, if you will, Khamzat-esque in the fact that he takes no damage. Now, every single fight on this main card is the right answer. You talk about Shevchenko, pissed off Shevchenko with the massive chip on her shoulder, calling Blanchfield the puppy. You talk about Grasso getting her opportunity to realize her dream. Gamrot Turner is an amazing fight. Gamrot Turner is a fight night main event. I love that fight. Gamrot, veteran, KSW, double champ. Jalen Turner, unbelievable. 6'3", 155 pounds. Are you kidding me? The tarantula. Love that gimmick. The return of Shavkat Rakhmonov, who's Khamzat 2.0 in terms of fighting style, doesn't have the personality just yet, but is as dominant and as good. I mean, you can't go wrong. I'll go with Bo Nickel. What about you, GC?
Shavkat, Jeff Neal.
That's your pick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, if Shavkat just walks through him, if he dominates like the way he has been, I mean, the sky's the limit for the dude. It's similar to that the Khamzat Burns fight back in April of last year. I can't wait for it.
Jeff Neal looked good in his last fight.
Jeff Neal looked great in his last fight, and then Shavkat has obviously looked fantastic every single time he's gone out. So can't wait for that one.
All right, Blaine Miller asks, Ariel and crew, hope it's a great day in New York for y'all. With Jon Jones making his heavyweight debut, I am curious, is there any fight throughout Jon Jones' career at light heavyweight you would have wanted to see that never happened? Blessings. Wow. What a question. Honestly, that wasn't where I thought you were going with that one. Fight at light heavy. I mean, he pretty much fought everyone. Was there ever talk for a brief second of Anderson versus him? Nah, not really. At light heavyweight, no. Honestly, no. I mean, he really fought a who's who, and that's part of what people are saying going into this fight. He lost motivation. The challenges weren't as challenging. I don't necessarily buy into all of that. Dominic Reyes was, looking very good going into their fight in February of 2020, as was Thiago Santos. But no, we saw the rematch with Gustafsson. We saw the rematch with DC. We saw the Glover fight. Obviously, the early fights, Rashad, Lyoto, Shogun, Rampage, those were all big fights. At light heavyweight, no. I don't think there's anyone that you could say like, damn, I wish we would have seen him. And as far as other promotions go, not really either. Connor from Canada. Hey, Ariel, with the MMA GOAT taking on a tough test this weekend, wanted to get your thoughts on how you think losses affect fighters' legacies. So many greats stay on way too long. For example, I think Anderson would be more widely considered in the GOAT convo if he retired back in 2012. Geez, 11 years ago. But you can also make the case that losses don't take anything away from past wins, and you should get props for trying, i.e., Folk Islam. If Jones loses this weekend, does that damage his legacy or does it not matter? Listen, if he wins, it's just further proof that, yes, he is the greatest of all time. You know, the two things that I always say there's three things that I say. When people ask me who's the greatest of all time, I say, all right, is everything included? Meaning, are there no asterisks? If you failed the drug test, are you still allowed to be in this discussion? If the answer is yes, Jon Jones is number one all time. There's no doubt about that. If the answer is no, GSP is number one. And why do I say GSP? Never failed the drug test, avenged every loss, and won a belt in two different weight classes. But if you're saying everyone is available, there are no asterisks, it's Jon Jones. And if now he adds a second title in a higher weight class, which is what we were asking of him throughout the tail end of his last run, there's no debate. There's no debate whatsoever. Again, I understand for newer fans, you may look at Shogun, Lyoto, Rampage, Ryan Bader, these guys, and say like, okay, what's the big deal? These were the best. It's one of the greatest runs ever, especially for a champion who was 23, youngest champion. By the way, that record still stands some, 12 years later. It's an incredible legacy. And I was talking to my good friend Bill Simmons yesterday, little name drop there. And what I usually like to do is compare Jon Jones to Dwight Gooden or Darryl Strawberry. But he brought up another comparison, which I think is even better than Gooden and Strawberry. American sports fans, North American sports fans will get this. He's more Lawrence Taylor than he is those guys, because those guys, while they did win in 1986 with the Mets, it always felt like they never realized their potential. The magic of Jon Jones is that he is the best despite all the demons, despite all the transgressions. He was able to overcome all of that with his God-given ability, his amazing talents, despite what he was doing. I shudder to think just how much better he would have been had this not been an issue, but that's his life. Lawrence Taylor, very much like that. Two-time Super Bowl champion, one of the greatest defensive players of all time, NFL history, New York Giants, but had the demons, had the transgressions as well. So that's the better comparison. Now we wonder, at some point, is the rubber going to meet the road? And I think part of the reason why the last three fights were not as incredible as the earlier fights, number one, people start to catch up to you. They start to figure you out. There's enough footage on you out there. Your uniqueness is not as unique. That's number one. Number two, you get older, father time undefeated. Number three, the talent, as you get older and there are more transgressions, like the talent can't supersede all of that as much. They start to even out. And so my question is, among the many that I can't wait to find the answer to on Saturday night, where's he at as far as this scale is concerned? Is he 100% clean and treating his body like a temple and staying out of trouble and not doing extra stuff? Because if he is, look out. If he's still doing that game, at some point he's not going to be able to get away with it. Is he going up to heavyweight because he doesn't have to cut weight or because he wants that challenge? Does Ciryl Gane give him that challenge? Or is the challenge just making history, legacy at heavyweight? Because choice number one was Francis. Choice number two was Stipe. Ciryl was choice three for him and for the UFC. So there's a lot there that I can't wait to see the answer. I see a lot of people offering excuses for the last three fights, and I think we'll find out whether those are legit excuses or not on Saturday. Again, Father Time is undefeated. And the last time we saw a situation like this, it was George St. Pierre coming back after a 4.5 or 4-year layoff against Michael Bisping here in New York at MSG, UFC 217. He was moving up after the layoff. Very similar, but there are a few differences. Number one, Bisping at that point in his career wasn't who Ciryl Gane is now. Bisping had the one eye issue, much older, Ciryl Gane is 32. I think we talk about Ciryl like he's some young buck, but he's actually older than Cody Garbrandt, believe it or not. 32, but still like pretty fresh in his UFC run. GSP, we assume, and just by looking at him and knowing him and looking at his social media, like not the kind of guy who's out there doing crazy things, not the kind of guy who's letting himself go, not the kind of guy who's cheating on his diet and all this stuff. What's Jon been doing the last 3 years? We're about to find out. GSP looked pretty damn good at 85. How's Jon going to look? How's he going to look and feel with that extra weight? But all this is amazing theater. All this is a gift from the gods. All this is like, how lucky are we that arguably the greatest of all time in our sport is coming back? You know, the greatest of all time in a lot of other sports isn't playing, right? So this is fun, and it's a new challenge, and it's a new look, and it's a new chapter. And so, yeah, I echo the excitement. Jack C. I thought Chael was working when he downplayed Jones Gane. Other than losing to Francis, Gane has had a meteoric rise. And just seeing Bones again is must-see TV. Agree. While there might not be 5-star contenders for Gane or Jones to face afterwards, I mean, you do have Stipe, if he is coming back, waiting in the wings for either guy, right? I mean, that's a big fight. Maybe, you know, International Fight Week or August, something like that. There will still be many fun matchups, such as Pavlovich, Blades, Aspinall, Ty, Derek Lewis versus Jones would be must-see TV. Where do you see the heavyweight division a year from now? Who's rising to the top? And are there any unknowns we could see who would present themselves over the next year? Well, first of all, I mean, let's not sleep on our good friend. Let's see if Frank is listening. There he is. There he is. Yeah, he is the guy, in my opinion. And if he comes back looking, feeling, fighting like he was before the injury, look out. But yes, you have Ciryl. I think Stipe has one fight left in him. And that would be the winner of this fight. One more chance to become champion and ride off into the sunset. Pavlovich is a major player. Curtis Blades. The top 4, very tough. Then you got Sergey Spivak, tough. Tuivasa is always going to be a tough out. And then you've got the Jairzinhos and the Volkovs of the world. And slowly but surely coming up is the Jalton Almeidas of the world. So yeah, no, top 4, top 5, very interesting. There's some people coming up. Aspinall, Almeida, I think are 2 people that a lot of people think will be major players in a year or so, if not sooner. So yeah, this is all very fun. Mr. Noir, blessings Ariel and the MMA Hour crew. What a great weekend for MMA/combat sports. I always love it when we get a trifecta of MMA events, one, Bellator, UFC. In your opinion, who would you say had the best moment in terms of their career changing and maybe just overall emotional, knowing their backstory from the weekend? Would also love to hear GC's thoughts, Rick's thoughts, Frank's thoughts, and their opinion too, if possible. These are the options. I will just say off the top, it's Yaroslav Amosov for me, considering what he's, been through over the past year and then winning and then the way they, honored him and treated him. That to me was number one. Fabricio Andrade, he mentions, beats John Lineker in the rematch for the ONE FC Bantamweight Championship after no contest in their first championship fight. Tremendous. Great performance, great fight. Maybe the best fight of the weekend. Andrade, somewhat of an unknown, but a solid fight. Amosov, he mentions Tatiana Suarez returning after the 3-year layoff, and then Tommy Fury. Wishing you and the crew nothing but health, wealth, peace of mind. Thank you as always for all you do for us MMA fans. My pick would be Amosov. What about you, GC, from this past weekend?
Yeah, I mean, the best moment was Amosov with everything he's gone through over the last, year.
Yeah.
In total. Best fight for me, though, was the Andrade fight.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. Fireworks with Lineker.
New York Rick, who is still under the weather, says it's Tatiana Suarez because, that's a great story and a great moment. Maybe didn't get the fanfare going in. Now I think people are very well aware of just how good she can be, and it's a lovely story that she was able to overcome this. Not to mention the stuff that she's had to overcome leading up to this point, dating back to her amateur wrestling days. And of course, we know that Frank is picking Jake Paul, right? That was a big weekend for him.
I mean, it was clearly he wanted to lose.
He wanted to lose.
Yeah.
He was just trying to build the rematch.
He wants to be humbled.
Yeah. And even Chael said it himself. The loss actually makes him better, more intriguing. Lloyd, Listening to you and the boys talking about who should Jake Paul, Logan Paul, KSI fight next got me thinking, in the grand scheme of things, does anyone actually care whatsoever about who they're fighting or where they go next? These fights are basically a money printing exercise for people who already are exorbitantly wealthy. The buildup is the best thing. And after the fight, every single time, everyone just scratches their head and thinks, what was the point in that? Love the show as always. Lloyd from Suffolk, England. I mean, I still think there is some intrigue. And again, maybe it's not our demo. I mean, I talking to my nephews, talking to kids in their teens, they're into all of this. But yes, I mean, I would never in a million years compare the intrigue of that to the intrigue of Jon Jones fighting this weekend, or the intrigue of Bo Nickel, or the intrigue of Shavkat Rakhmonov, or anyone on that card, or the intrigue of, I don't know, the Bellator Lightweight Grand Prix starting next week, things of that nature. But, listen, I like to have fun, different strokes, different folks. I try not to take my life so seriously. They do put on a good show. They do put on a scene, a spectacle. I do think that Jake has earned the respect from the fighting community. He's earned my respect. Tommy has as well. God bless. KSI is doing his thing. They're creating opportunities. I'm not getting too upset. And I do think Jake versus KSI would be a fun spectacle. And as we saw last week, I want the fight to happen so I can do the face-to-face because I beat him in darts. Them's the rules.
Just saying.
Yeah. Our boy Abe. Hello, Ariel. 2 quick ones for me. Firstly, has Darren Till been released from the UFC? If so, what's next for him? Bellator or PFL? Boxing? Wouldn't mind seeing him box Rockhold or Mike Perry, he says. And if he hasn't been released, does he need to do what Anthony Smith did and fight a lower-level guy just to get a win? Secondly, had such a blast watching you and Chael reunite on Monday. Is there any chance this becomes a regular thing again, even if it's just once a month, every 2 months, pre or post each big pay-per-view event? We need more of our own bad guy. Much love. Your boy Abe. So yes, everyone went crazy yesterday because I guess it was the UFC roster watch guy that posted that Darren Till had been removed, right?
Yeah, it's correct.
By the way, GC, can you explain this to me? You're much smarter when it comes to all of this. How does that guy get those notifications?
I don't know. I don't know.
Like, is it really a thing that he's like tapped into the website, and if they remove someone, he is
That's what I think it is, because when they started talking about removing like the automatic posting, he was saying that the account was going to get taken down because of that. So yeah, it has to be tapped into the website, automatically posts it, and yeah, that's how he does it. But I mean, it seems to be an incredible resource.
Bizarre. New York Rick says it's a coding thing. I don't know how that works.
It's above my pay grade.
All right, I thought this was right in your wheelhouse.
Just imagine if you had something reading the page constantly, and if it makes a change, it notifies.
No, that's
you.
definitely not.
But what is the thing?
Because it's always the fastest out there.
Right. So it's like reading the HTML.
Someone much smarter right now is just like scoffing at us.
I can hear them laughing. In the
yeah,
distance.
I can too.
Do you think it's a real person running that account, or do you think it's like some sort of bot account?
No, I think it's a real person running it, but they use technology to their advantage.
God bless.
I mean, actually, God bless them. It's a great account.
Yeah, I mean, they break more news than anyone. They legit break more news than anyone.
They are the number one newsbreaker in MMA. I'm sitting here talking to number 2. You know?
These days, I'm like number 9. In any event, he posted that yesterday, or they posted. Who knows who posted it? Someone posted it from that account. And then Darren Till this morning in the UK tweeted this: "What's happening, everyone? Me, Dana, and Hunter are still cool as fuck. I asked UFC to remove me just to sort some other shit for the foreseeable. They happily agreed to release me out of contract, which I appreciate. I'm not going anywhere. Got big plans to execute, and I'll be back." So there's a lot to decipher here. Clearly, the roster watch site was right. He has been removed. He has been released. Now, is he being released because, he's removing himself from the USADA pool? I don't know. Is he being released because they're letting him go out and explore other options? We don't know. It's not very clear when he says, "I'm not going anywhere." Like, does that mean you're coming back to the UFC? If so, why are you asking to be released? If you're not going anywhere, does that mean you're going to pop up on some Game Bread boxing card or some other promotion? I don't know. I really don't. It's all very much up in the air. But what we do know is, as of right this second, Darren Till is no longer a UFC fighter. And that's a little bit shocking. I know the last few results weren't great, but, not that long ago, it looked like he was on this incredible trajectory. What do you think, GC? What do you think this means? I know nothing. I have not talked to Darren.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw that he tweeted the boxing emojis. So, I mean, is he going to go do something else while he figures stuff out?
Oh, did he do that?
Yeah, I think he just did.
I see it. Box. Okay, well, there you go. Well, it could be messy. That was 41 minutes ago. How about that?
I think he's going by Frank Till on Twitter now. Is that an homage to Mysterious?
I thought so. I didn't want to mention it because I know Frank's weird about that stuff, but that's what I saw.
Yeah.
Not only does he go by Frank Till, he has
a crypto guy?
Well, the crypto, yes, but his bio is just, I'm Frank.
It's bizarre. I know he's a huge
Frank's
fan.
Make a riot,
Yeah, I know he's a huge fan. No, they're big on the like a picture of a gorilla having, taking a bath, or
Yeah, block asset too.
Yeah.
They were big on block asset.
a picture of a kangaroo eating popcorn. That particular one, the kangaroo eating popcorn, $25,000. I was told.
Yeah. I mean, we're close to some people that invested quite a bit of money in that space.
Are we?
Yeah.
Are we allowed to name names?
I mean, TST.
Oh yes, of course.
Relaxing Camel. Now, Caring Camel. Shout out.
Yeah. There's a great one of gorilla having a pizza. It was just an amazing investment. One of the best investments that you can get your hands on.
In the Oculus where I get on the train, right next to the World Trade Center, there's like an NFT art gallery.
Oh, I'm sure it's tremendous. That are people still doing the thing where like you buy a digital pack of NBA cards? Like, oh my god!
Top Shot.
Is that still a thing?
I mean, as far as I know, it fell off heavy.
What about the UFC Top Shot when everyone was like live tweeting, like, I just got
Hot Strike or whatever.
Oh, it was amazing! Something. I just got a shot of Anderson Silva knocking out Stephan Bonner. This is worth millions of dollars. I'm like, really? Because I could go on YouTube right now and watch it over and over again. Like, what is?
It felt very flash in the pan. Feels like it's been proven that it was a flash in the pan.
What was a bigger flash in the pan, that or Clubhouse?
God, it had to have been Clubhouse because I don't even know. Like, Clubhouse was such a just blip for 2 seconds, and then it was gone.
Came at a good time because everyone was home and bored. Sort of like, do you remember there's a period where you'd go on Instagram and the top where the stories are, everyone was doing an IG live?
Oh,
it was like 45 IG lives.
Those were crazy times. About 3 years ago now.
Yeah, it's true. March 11th.
Time flies.
Anyway, so who knows? I mean, as you just said,
the boxing emoji is pretty.
Yeah, but he could just be messing around. But look, the UFC has shown, especially in this world where, they're doing great. They've got this antitrust lawsuit. They're not going to hold guys back who perhaps they feel as though, hey, there's not a lot of money to be made and we're not going to stand in your way as long as you don't go to a Bellator or somewhere like that. And so if he wants to go out and do some boxing, I don't think they view it as direct competition. So let's see what happens. Darren's very anti all the influencer stuff, so I'd be curious to see if he pops up on one of those. Wish him the best. Hopefully he could get back on track, stay healthy, and we'll see. But yeah, as of right now, Darren Till no longer in the UFC, and that is pretty wild. Oh, as for the Chael one, who knows? We'll see what the future holds. Love doing the show with him. Would love to do a show with him in the future. Let's see.
Did you get some pizza with him?
No, I didn't. I forgot to ask him about that. Let's ask. You mean like the
vodka pizza?
Yeah. I just got a text from Michael Rappaport.
Oh yeah, what's it say?
You know Michael Rappaport?
Oh yeah,
Remy.
You
ever see that movie?
No.
Yeah. What did Michael Rappaport?
How was the pizza? Michael Rappaport texted. Jones in 3. Should we call him on FaceTime right now?
He didn't call you. That's the rule. Is if he called you, then we have to do it. But
I was just trying to flex it for you guys.
Yeah.
Now, what was his prediction for?
Oh my God!
Last week's match.
He was hitting me up. He was hitting me up. Oh, not that one. He's very, very into the whole Jake Paul thing, but anti-Jake Paul. So he was hitting me up constantly about that, and then was celebrating afterwards.
Oh. Okay.
Shout out to Connor's
I was hoping
camera.
he was giving you predictions.
Yeah.
Every time we had an Apex card or something like that. Yeah. Shout out to my camera. A lot of people, big fan.
A lot of people talking about it. Yeah.
I mean, it's hot in the streets right now.
Very hot. I mean, he's asking me for my thoughts on the fight. I'm like, bro, I'm live. I'm like, why aren't you watching the MMA? You know what I mean? Does this constitute, or does it have to be a call, Frank?
It has to be a call.
Has to be a call. Damn it. Cole. Good day, Ariel and crew. Getting straight to the point. Does Venom Does Venom's women's fight gear need a revision? I don't know. I've seen a couple of people complain about it, but I am certainly not the person to really comment on that. What he said,
He could be indisposed.
doing it, Frank.
Wow.
Let's see. I'm calling Michael Rappaport.
FaceTime.
Yeah.
Bold step in the
Well, because I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
By the way, he's a big FaceTime guy.
Hmm.
I'm telling you.
So.
No, you. Rappaport, I'm live on the air right now, and we're talking about how offensive it is that you just responded with live on what? You say that you're a big fan of mine. I'm literally live broadcasting to millions of people, and you have no idea what I'm doing. Look at this. I've got a whole studio.
Ariel, you do so many things. I didn't know which platform you were live on. That's the only thing, because I know you got your hand in a gazillion things. Who knows what you're doing at what point? We never know.
Okay, fair enough.
First of all, the studio looks great. When am I going to get an invitation there? It looks fantastic.
You want to come in studio?
Anytime, man. I love your show.
Oh, I love that. We're right in New York City, just like you, Financial District.
I will be there next week to discuss Jon Jones winning in three rounds.
That's the prediction. Jon Jones in 3?
Jones in 3, and I will come to New York, and the loser of our bet will get the other person coffee.
Deal. Next week, I'll hit you up on the side. You're in studio, sitting right over there.
Oh, that's an iconic studio. It's beautiful in there. Listen, Ariel, I know you're live, and I don't want to flood you with compliments. I love your shows. I love your takes. I love your guests. You get the best interviews from everybody. This might not be one of the best interviews of everybody.
No, this is big.
But aside from this one, they're always the best.
Thank you, Mike. Much love. I'll hit you up. We'll see you in studio next week.
Jones in 3. I get Ventis and Trenti lattes.
Love it. All right, my man. Thank you. There he is, Michael Rappaport, a.k.a. Remy of Higher. How about that? Am I cool or what, Frank?
I mean, that was quite the flex.
Was that cool?
Yeah.
Just me and Mike coming in studio. Are you a fan?
I am, yeah.
Didn't sound like you were a big fan.
I'm a
when you
huge
said
fan
that.
because I don't remember the one character from Higher Learning.
Remy, Higher Learning.
That movie was a little, a little
What
off the beaten path.
Higher Learning, no
I
joke.
think Our Generation, it was pretty big.
One of my
but-
favorite movies of all time. Anyone in
Really?
that control room seen Higher Learning? Have you seen it, GC?
No, I was just loving this game.
Have you seen the program?
Never even heard of
The
it.
program's great.
The program's which one would you take, Higher Learning or the program? I think Higher Learning is just like a heavy movie.
By the way, Higher Learning, top 10 favorite movies of all time. For
Best
me.
soundtrack. Got that
Really?
Rage Against the Machine in there.
Oh, I love
remember?
it. So many famous people in that. Him, Mekhi Phifer, Busta Rhymes,
Right.
Lawrence Fishburne. There's a bunch. And then
Heavy subject matter.
heavy subject matter. And there's
I was
also
a
like
kid.
a prime, like 22, 21-year-old Tyra Banks, like in her prime. She's the love interest, right? You remember the closing scene with the gun? I don't
Yeah.
want to spoil it for
No, I mean,
anyone.
it's yeah.
Crazy stuff. Anyway, couldn't recommend it enough. Venom gear. You know what? Next time we don't have any female fighters on today. I don't think Luciana is the best to discuss that. Although I think is the Octagon girl outfit a Venom gear? Not the same. Anyway, we'll ask them. This weekend's card features 6 undefeated prospects. Which do you believe has the most promise for their division as it stands? All right, who are the 6? I know Shavkat would be one. Wait, let me look at this. Bo Nickel would be another one. Ian Gary would be one. Okay, let's go from the bottom here. Esteban Ribovic would be one. Farid Basrat would be 2. Cameron Simon would be 3. Ian Gary would be 4. Bo 5. And then Shavkat. I'd say either Bo or Shavkat. I don't think that's much of a hot take. The undefeated fighters are as follows. Oh, I should have just read that. It's the next line. Golly. Cleveland Steven. Ariel, what a performance on the dartboard last week versus KSI. Not a lot of fanfare for my drubbing of Chael Sonnen, but I thought that was equally impressive. But I know what you're talking about. The bullseye, back against the wall. Let's go. The people are still buzzing about the clutch gene you seemingly dropped on his forehead. I've been clutch, all right? I don't think you guys realize that. Want to acknowledge it. I've been clutch. I have 2 under-the-radar questions about 285. What do you think about Cody Garbrandt's return to 135? I mean, it's It's a big one. He's a favorite going into this fight. Cody Garbrandt's still so young, just 31 years old. And again, as I've said before, the Cody Garbrandt that fought Dominic Cruz at UFC 207, I know it's now 6.5 years ago. Where did that guy go? Can he be brought back? Following that fight, 2 losses to TJ Dillashaw, 1 to Pedro Munoz, beat Rafael Sunsao. We thought that was the one that brings him back. Lost to Font, lost to Kai Kai France. Never loved the move to 25 for him. Never loved it. But maybe he comes back and gets a win. Like the matchup, Trevin Jones, the kind of guy he should be fighting right now, build himself back up. So yes, I'm very interested in the fight and seeing if he can turn back the clock. Previous fights recently would suggest it's going to be tough, but maybe there's been enough time, and certainly back at 35 is better. He's only a minus 170 favorite. I mean, I think it's good that he's a favorite. Could he possibly get cut after another loss? That'd be 3 in a row, maybe 1 more. I think Jeff Neal's a live underdog, even at near plus 400 odds. I wish there were odds for picking fight of the night. What are the chances you and the boys in the back give him to pull off the upset? GC, what do you think? Shavkat, Jeff Neal?
Yeah, I mean, Jeff Neal obviously has a chance. If I'm going to pick the fight, though, I'm taking Shavkat Rakhmonov.
I think as far as main card is concerned, like the best H-Dow.
We're going back to the H-Dow?
I mean, people have been asking for it.
Have they?
Yeah.
All right.
Jalen Turner.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Plus 145?
Yeah.
You like that one?
Yeah, it's not 145 anymore.
Oh.
Get it for like 180.
Whoa.
75, yeah.
Interesting. Gamrot's super tough.
Super
tough. Can grind it out, but Turner is...
Short notice, though.
Yep.
I don't know if that's going to matter.
Not
feels like Gamrot
like 3 weeks notice? Not exactly Andrade Blanchfield.
Yeah.
But yes, I would pick Shavkat as well. Gilbert, good day, heel Wani. I just want to put out a couple of qualifiers before my question. I'm a fan of Chael Sonnen's, and I've been for quite a long time. I've always enjoyed the love-hate relationship you guys share. 99% of the time, it comes across as love with a little bit of teasing, but my goodness, he was in rare form. It was honestly beginning to not be funny, but rather annoying. I guess what I want to ask is, as a loyal friend like yourself, does it ever bother you a little when DC refuses to hug you, but bro hugs RC? Does it bug you at all when Chael is just in insult mode and nonstop devil's advocate? Lastly, was there anything he said before or after to indicate that he was joking? Not calling for a 10-7, just curious for your genuine feelings when friends act weird like this. Thank you. Love from Kansas City, Gilbert Hill. First of all, as far as like the DC thing is concerned, to me, that's true love. Like the fact that he feels comfortable enough not hugging me, and that, you bro hug the guys that you're not really that comfortable with, if you know what I'm saying. So that doesn't bother me. That's Chael, but the Chael you see here isn't the Chael that's hanging out back there. Totally different guy. I've talked about this. On the road, very introverted, likes to stay in the room, likes to order a movie, likes to have his wife pack his clothes and, order room service. Orders the movie, by the way, off the TV, not on a tablet. Like, he's just old school like that. Now, are there periods in the interview where I'm like, I want that Chael to come out? Yes, that's what I was trying to do. And we got it at the end when I was talking about like our friendship and even talking about the show, because in the early days of Ariel and the Bad Guy, he was very confrontational towards me. And I think part of it was he was always used to the relationship where it was just me asking him questions. They didn't want that. They wanted both of us to weigh in. And I think that annoyed him. And we got through it and everything was okay. But there were times where I genuinely felt like he was getting mad at me. But he's a great friend. He's a loyal friend. And if that's the way he wants to be on the show, I have no problem with it. Do I not want him to maybe say things that aren't true on the show? Sure. But as long as I don't co-sign them, I think I'm okay. So, he gets amped. He gets fired up. The veins start bulging out. He gets just, fired up. And that's who he is. So I'm okay with it. But those two guys are, legitimately like two of my best friends in life. Like, I think that there is not a jealous bone in their bodies towards me. All support, all love. And so I'm completely okay with the relationship. Mario from Ontario. We had big wins this past weekend from Canadians Mike Malott and Yasmin Yasidavicius. How about that, Frank? I've been practicing.
You did a really good job.
Thanks. And their passionate post-victory callouts for the UFC to return to Canada seem to have added some momentum to bring a card north of the border. Dana confirmed in the presser that returning to Canada is a priority for the organization. The interesting thing is that while this is certainly not a golden era of Canadian MMA, we're in a better spot now with fighters with more recognition than perhaps back in 2020, 2022. Charles Ayer Jourdain, always a lock for fireworks. Helwani lookalike Ayman Zahabi. Malat 2-0 in the welterweight division. Yasidavicius. Jillian Robertson. Tanner Boser. Malcolm Gordon. Marc-André Barriot. Johan Lainez. Hakeem Dawoudou. Kyle Nelson. Yes, on and on it goes. Do you think the UFC will approach it like they did with Australia? Get as many of these Canadian fighters on the card, or they book it like a typical fight night? No, I think the former. I think they will load it up with Canadians. We're missing that title contender is the problem. We're missing that Volk, if you will. Even though he's not a contender, he's a champ, but you get what I'm saying. But nevertheless, yeah, it's getting better. It's getting much better, and we have some in Bellator as well, right? Aaron Jeffrey and the other members of the Canadian top team. Logan, hello, Ariel. Hope that you are doing well with the UFC heavyweight belt on the line this weekend. I was wondering if you had any updates on the status of the true heavyweight champion, Francis Ngannou. Will he be boxing in his next fight? Will he fight anytime soon? Thanks, Logan. There's a second one here regarding Francis, so let me read it as well. John in HB, perhaps that's Huntington Beach. Hi, basement dweller. If you're Ngannou's manager, he doesn't really have one, but I get what you're saying. Do you demand that he attend this weekend's fight in person with his belt in tow? And have you heard any rumors that it might happen? Would be great theater. I don't think he's showing up. I don't think he wants that type of... Listen, if I'm Francis, I keep that door open. I don't try to slam that door because guess what? Jon Jones wins. He beats Stipe. You go out, have a boxing fight. UFC will come back and try to make this fight. So there's no reason to torch that bridge. He's handling it pretty damn well. So no, I don't think that's necessary. We all know the score. We all know what's up. As far as an update on him, still not 100%, still weighing his options. Hopefully we see him, I don't know, summer, fall. If I had to bet, MMA's involved, but I think everything's on the table. And I would, I would implore any promoter out there to take your best shot. I don't think there's a front runner. I don't think there's a sure thing. Hit him with your best shot. So that's pretty much the update. Caleb, happy on the nose day, Ariel and team. And by the way, I also want to say, Frank.
Yes, sir.
Getting to it, sorry.
It's what we call a pregnant pause.
Yeah. Happy St. David's Day to all my friends in Wales.
Nice.
Yeah. I have a
What's
lot
your
of friends.
favorite city in Wales?
Oh, Cardiff. I was just there.
That's cool.
You tried to stump me.
I tried to get you to say one of the funky ones, but...
No, I was literally just there in September.
So it's your favorite,
No, but I have a lot of love for the Welsh people, of course. Leader of Nottingham Forest, Stevie Cooper. Of course, Brendan Johnson, my favorite player. Of course, Jack Tank Shore. His father, Shaky Shore. I mean, it's just a bunch of legends. Anyway, great to see Chael and you in person. Would be surprised if Schultze gets a whole sentence in throughout their entire segment. On to my question. If you look at all the other sports league, there are very large departments when it comes to scouting / player evaluation in terms of building a roster. If you view all the MMA promotions as different teams, do they follow this similar concept, or does each promotion just use their top 1 to 2 executives to do all the scouting of fighters or finding talent in similar promotions, or through college sports like Bo Nickel? Feel like they should follow the model of other sports organizations, even though they technically don't have teams, but are instead a whole promotion or league. Couldn't agree more. I've said this. The promotions usually have a system where it's like a matchmaker or two. They might have an assistant or two. As far as the UFC is concerned, it's really just Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard that do the signing. Obviously, when it comes to like a Michael Chandler or Hunter Campbell is going to be involved. Obviously, when there's, a Jones, Connor, Dana might get involved. But again, it's really Hunter Campbell. I have often said there should be scouts. I remember talking to Joe Silva where he would say, like, people just send me tapes and I have to watch them. Like it would be VHS back in the day, then it would be YouTube clips. So there isn't a system like, the Dodgers will have some scout in the Dominican Republic, and then they'll have a guy, follow other teams on the road, or, be in Japan or something like that. It's not really like that, to be honest. And when you're the big dog, it doesn't necessarily need to be like that. But you'd be surprised how small the staffs are, how, the crews are very skeleton-like. Like it's one or two people. There's not a whole massive team of people. And I think that would be a very interesting concept. Maybe there just isn't enough out there to warrant it, but I've often thought that the UFC should have more people out there. But hey, it seems to be working, so all good. Chris, hi Ariel and team. Unusual question for you. Why in the MMA community, when you disagree with an opinion, you get immediately labeled as a casual? What's so wrong with being a casual MMA fan too? I mean, it's sort of like, people who are hardcore fans of a band, and they're like, that's our band, and we were watching them when they were playing, bingo halls, and now they're playing MSG, and we liked it better when they were in the bingo hall. And people are very territorial when it comes to that. I think all of that is nonsense. Like GC, you're a newer fan. Do you ever get called a casual?
Surprisingly, no. But I mean,
it's really incredible that you bypassed that whole.
I feel like there's plenty of moments where people could be like, "Dude, you're a casual."
I mean, it's amazing that no one actually says that to you.
All right. Well, the one argument that I'll make in that point, I think, I think I'm open about being a newer fan. And two,
but you don't have casual takes.
Yeah,
so that's the problem.
Right, I like that. Well, I was gonna say two, I am not a casual now. I watch every single fight, every single week.
You watch more than me, probably.
On UFC 1, KSW, Bellator. Right now, I am not a casual. In the broad spectrum, I definitely am. I am a later fan.
Yeah. I've been watching basketball, for example, since like 1988. When I was a kid, it was my favorite sport. I say things out, and I sort of lean into the crazy fan shtick, but like I get things now like, you have no idea what you're talking about. I've actually played basketball. I've actually coached high school basketball, and I get, you have no idea what you're talking about. So people are very quick, I think, in all facets of the internet to call you out, to say, stick to this, you're a casual in that. In MMA, I think just the vernacular is you're a casual, but.
I, for one, have noticed just how smart everyone is on the internet about what a good round is, what a fair decision is. Like, I'm just always open-jawed, like, wow, like, people really know what they're talking about.
Wow.
Like, you're a casual, bro.
I wear that proudly.
Ryan asks, hi, Ariel, what's your favorite color in the rainbow? It's a weird one. I'm a big fan of pink, yellow, but is pink in the rainbow?
No,
I don't think so. No.
Red, orange, yellow, blue.
Yep.
Green,
actually,
indigo, violet.
The GOAT, as far as moderating is concerned, moderator Lewis, provided me a picture of the rainbow, and I ignored also, I'm colorblind, so I can't really tell everything in there. Like, what's the third one? Is that green?
No, that's yellow.
Who knows? Well, I'm talking about from the bottom.
Well, why would... Okay.
Anyway, I guess I like the dark blue there.
The indigo?
Whatever. Yellow? I mean, what is this question?
It's either indigo or yellow.
This is a silly question. Alex, without getting too technical, and of course, this should not be considered financial advice, with all you know about the UFC and Endeavor as a whole, will you buy or sell their stock? I guess buy. I don't know. I'm not a big stock guy, but they're doing big things. They had a great year. Seems like bigger things are coming. David, good day, MMA Hour crew. Ariel, regarding Nathan, a boxing match with one of the Pauls is the only other thing outside of the UFC that makes sense. But how long does Nate continue to be sidelined? With Jake, I feel like the timing is a little better, but the intrigue kind of died when he lost, and Logan seems a little more logical at the moment, but the timing seems to be iffy as Logan is going to be tied up with WWE. No, because he's got WrestleMania and then he's good afterwards. Like, I could see this fight happening in June, July, August range. His deal with WWE isn't to be on every card, so he could do that. And I'm sure WWE would be happy. This would only be good for them because then he comes back to them. So this, I mean, everyone wins. I know he fought hard to get out, but the Dustin fight just seems to be what makes the most sense. He's not taking that yet. As of right now, I say he fights Logan Paul, Summer, and then sees what's out there. Is it Conor? Is it another boxing match? Does Jake win and then he fights him? Who the hell knows? He's going to make a lot of money. Don't worry about him. Rich. Hello, Ariel. Did you see the photo of McGregor and Wonderboy? Conor looks massive. What does a win at 170 against Chandler do for McGregor? Chandler's not a welterweight, but would McGregor beating him at 170 give him an argument for the welterweight title shot? Would love to hear GC and New York Rick's opinion as well. By the way, I did see the photo. The thing that always strikes me about Conor, his freaking hands are gigantic. You ever notice that? Like his fist is the size of my head. His fists are gigantic. He's not a huge guy. I know now he looks bigger, but always, even dating back to the featherweight days, like when he would do the fist, it huge. Like I'm looking at the picture here. His fist compared to Wonderboy's fist, it looks like it's twice the size. Anyway, if Conor beats Chandler, he will be in talks for a title shot. There is no doubt. Unless it's a Diaz fight. And it would be at 55 or 70. No doubt about it in my mind. No doubt about it. I mean, he fought Cerrone and he was in talks for a title shot. And then they went the Dustin route, but that would not shock me. Ariel, long time no see, my man. Shout out to the 4 words back in your lives. Oh, this is from Shirt Guy Lee, legend. He used to show up to all the events and have crazy shirts and would give me some. A real OG fan. I've enjoyed hearing them for over 10 years, back in your life. I'm always curious if you ever thought about taking calls from the fans again on the show, like back in the old show days. I know you did a bit of this on the pre-fight radio broadcast, but what factors would lead to a yes or no decision for it to happen live on the MMA Hour? Yes, back in the old days, I don't know if you know this, guys, we used to take phone calls. This is back in the AOL days, pre-New York Rick. Yes. And it was okay, and we even did it with fans. I'm pretty sure Dana was on one time, and we took calls with him. That's how long ago it was. But it kind of slows things down, and the issue is sometimes you can get some clunkers. So I think this is the best way to do it because you can get the best questions and answer them. You don't hear your voice, but I think this might be the best way to do it. So I don't see that happening anytime soon.
How about like a voicemail check?
Yeah, I could do that.
Just so people can get their voice heard, you know.
They get their voice heard here. I'm reading their questions.
Did you just hit your laptop?
I totally just hit it.
Very excited about this.
Thanks for all the great work and the weekly content. P.S. Even though I don't watch wrestling, I loved seeing you live it up in Montreal. Oh, yes. Thank you. Long live Ariel the Bad Guy, your longtime pal, Shirt Guy Lee. New York Rick tells me that we did calls in the Vox era, too. How about that?
We did calls on ESPN Radio when you did.
We did. You were there, right?
Oh, yeah. People would cuss. We'd have to dump it.
At any point, did you ever say did you ever produce one of the shows with Steve-O on them on the radio?
I want to say that I did, yeah.
Such a mistake to have him on a radio format because there was one time in particular where I booked him in the Hard Out segment, which I didn't know about, where you have to get to the damn commercial, and he was just going on and we had to cut him mid-sent. I couldn't get in.
It's great stuff. Shout out to the Hard Out.
This is why podcasts are better, or whatever this is.
Yeah,
streaming,
no question.
Kane Summerfeld. I might be the first question from Saskatchewan. If you feature me this week, my question is for the production team. Why did the clips become available for download before the full show? I work night shift and often without cell service, and it really bugs me when I can't download the episode before I go to work. Cheers to the whole crew of the best MMA podcast on the internet. Oh yeah, didn't want to make it too long, but the segments just don't cut it. They leave out the transitional commentary. What is he talking about? I don't even understand. Why did the clips become available for download before the full show? Oh, is he saying that the breakout clips you can download and you can't download the full show?
Right.
What, you can download clips off the YouTube page?
Well, he's like, you can access them, yeah.
But the full show
because the breakouts are done sometimes concurrently with the show, and then the show has to process afterward.
I don't understand the question though.
Yeah.
Do you understand it, GC?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's saying that like the individual clip of the interview is up before the full show is.
But the full show is up right away. I do see sometimes on the YouTube, why can't I download it? And I don't even understand what they're talking about. I didn't know you could download things on YouTube. Is that like a YouTube Red thing?
No, because I have it and you can't do that. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I mean,
you don't know what you're talking about.
Us in the control room we are not the ones.
Yes, we're not the ones who do that. Maybe someone can chime in on the...
Shout out to MMA Fighting, you know.
Yeah,
what was that? Chime in.
Must have been Rick knocking at the door or something.
Rick, is that you?
I guess that's his entry, you know.
No, all right.
Ah, damn.
Yeah, this is not my domain, but I'll look into it. And if you want the full thing to be downloadable, then we'll figure that out. Nathan, Ariel, question for you and the crew. How do you enjoy a fight when you can't stand the thought to see either fighter losing? I've always had a rooting interest for one particular fighter, but Cheeto, Sandhagen are two of my favorites. I'm struggling with the idea of watching it. I say just embrace it. Just freaking embrace it. Just hope for the best. Hope no one gets injured. Better to have someone that you despise, right? And then they win and then you feel kind of shitty. But yeah, that is up there with one of those types of fights. I couldn't agree more. It's tough, but it's going to happen. Daniel, hey, Ariel, really enjoyed Chael's appearance on Monday's show. He's the Robin Williams to your David Letterman. Wow, what a compliment. For my question, your essay that you wrote and narrated for the WWE was great. Any more forays into writing in the works beyond the forthcoming Highway to Helwani, of course? All the best to you and the boys in the back. Yeah, we're dabbling. Things pop up. The beauty of independent Helwani is that we do these things. Is that we're able to do these things. One-offs here, one-offs there, opportunities here, pop up here, do a thing on DAZN there, do a thing for Showtime here, BT there. So yes, I love that. Now Shaheen says, full show is always available. That's how people are watching it live. Not sure what the fellow's talking about. I think that they're talking about downloading it off of YouTube with YouTube Premium.
I don't think you could just download it off of YouTube Premium.
Yeah, you definitely can't.
You have to use another app.
Guillermo says YouTube Premium, I can download videos to watch offline.
No.
Oh, okay. So you're saying like within the app, sort of like like an Amazon Prime or like an HBO Max. Okay, I see what you're saying. I thought you meant directly download the file to your computer. Okay, yeah, Brazilian Beast.
I also understand now.
Yeah, like
yes, yeah.
I wanted to watch the KSI doc on Amazon Prime, but on the plane, I downloaded it and then I was able to get it.
Within the, I get it now.
Yeah.
I get it now.
So I'm not, so not really sure, but we'll see if we can make that happen for you. I made it one question left, so we'll save that one for later. For now, though, let's go to our first guest of the day. You've all been waiting. You've all been wondering, and thank you to everyone who sent in the questions. And of course, thank you to moderator Lewis as well. A lot of people wondering, all right, what's this big news that Dave Feldman, the founder, the head man, the head honcho of BKFC, what does he have in store? They've been all over the place. They've got a show in London once again this weekend. They're signing big names. It seems like they're putting on an event, a couple times a month these days. They're growing exponentially. Half the states have sanctioned bare knuckle fighting. What is the big announcement? And so without further ado, let us go to the Zoom machine and say hello to Mr. Feldman. Hello, sir. How are you?
What's going on, Ariel? How are you?
I'm doing great. Great to have you on once again. You're in good health, good spirits. Last time you were coming off of surgery, so we're all good now. You do even have a little toy behind you of yourself, it seems. Is that you?
Yeah, they made this thing for the metaverse for me, and pretty cool.
Yeah, I love it. All right. Well, let's not beat around the bush because people are wondering. You guys have promoted it. We've promoted it as well. You have 1-2 announcements to make, some big time stuff that I think would appeal to this audience in a very, very big way. And so without further ado, the floor is yours, my friend. And then I'll ask you some questions on the back end, of course. What do you have for us?
Awesome, Ariel. Yeah, man, I wanted to break this major card that we have here in Denver coming up on April 29th. 2 new signings that we have to go against 2 of our big signings that we already have. So the first will be Chad Mendes, will be the co-main event on April 29th, and he'll be taking on Eddie Alvarez.
Wow.
And the main event of that evening will be Mike Perry will be taking on former UFC world champion Luke Rockhold. Wow. So it's a big doubleheader, 2 big signings for BKFC, just trying to keep, everything moving forward and adding some big names and big power to this roster of ours.
Frank, I think we need some, there it is. There's some breaking news, courtesy of Mr. Feldman. That is big time stuff. Yeah, that is gigantic stuff. Eddie Alvarez, the underground king, one of the greatest of all time, former Elite XC champion, former Bellator champion, former UFC champion, free agent. As of right this moment, no more, has signed with BKFC to fight Chad Mendes, the former UFC title contender, in the co-main event of your card on April 29th, BKFC 41 in Broomfield, Colorado, the First Bank Center. And then the main event, as you know, I'm a pretty good promoter myself, so I'm just trying to tack onto it. The main event is Platinum Mike Perry against Luke Rockhold, recently a free agent, left the UFC, disgruntled, unhappy, looking for greener pastures. You have signed both of these guys. Both of these fights are signed, sealed, and delivered. They're a done deal, yes?
Yes, signed, sealed, and delivered, done deal. I was hoping to be able to announce tickets are on sale today, but the arena has a little backup. But you can go to bkfc.com and sign up for tickets. But it's going to be an amazing event. It's certainly our biggest name power event that we've ever done to date. We expect to sell out very, very quickly and move on to bigger and better things. This is going to be an awesome event for us. 2 former UFC world champions on this card, 4 former UFC fighters headlining the main event and co-main event. And, all 4 of them, chose to take different career paths. They weren't cut by the UFC. They just chose to find something different out there for them. And BKFC ended up being what was there for them.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, Chad Mendes, Eddie Alvarez, what weight is this at?
That's going to be at 165.
165, fun number there, a number that we've talked about a lot in the world of MMA. Now, Platinum Perry against Luke Rockhold, what weight?
That's going to be 185.
185. Okay, very interesting. Now, for those that may be unfamiliar, how many rounds and how long are the rounds?
We do 5 2-minute rounds, nonstop action, complete excitement the whole entire fight long. It just doesn't stop. We'll have 12 bouts on that evening. We also have our 2 other bouts that I wanted to mention too. Our women's 125 World Championship will be Christine Faria will be defending against Beck Rawlings on that card. And also we will have in our first feature match will be Ben Rothwell against a opponent will be announced in the next day or so. We're just trying to tighten up the opponent's contract, but it's going to be a pretty good quadruple header on that card. Yeah, it's a big one for us, Ariel.
Biggest one of all time for you guys? I know you've had some big ones. Obviously, the Paulie Artem fight was big. Knucklemania has always been big for you guys last couple of years. Dare I say this is the biggest ever? And, because of the names, because of who they are?
Yeah, absolutely. And, it'll be our largest crowd. It'll be our highest gate. It'll be our most watched. Everything that we need it to be, it's going to be that. It's a great card. It's every one of these guys are coming to bang. I mean, Eddie Alvarez and Chad Mendes is going to be a very, very explosive matchup. And it's, it's really cool for me to have Eddie Alvarez because we're both Philly guys. And I watched him, out throughout his career, but coming out of Philly, and I'm a Philly guy, and to have him on one of my cards now, it's pretty awesome. I love that. And to have Luke Rockhold, who was looking to find a different home, found a home right here at BKFC right now and taking on one of the toughest men that I ever met in my life, Platinum Mike Perry, and one of the nicest guys I've ever met.
Wow. Yeah. So some follow-ups, if I may. Is this like a one-fight deal situation for both these guys? Have they signed long-term deals, exclusive deals? Can they still do MMA while they're under contract with you? What could you tell us about the Eddie Alvarez deal and the Luke Rockhold deal?
Yeah. Both of the deals, we have options on them. We are going to, if something big comes along for them in other sports, we're going to let them dabble in that, but we all have options on their next fight, and we'll see what happens. If they both come out victorious, I'm sure that their stardom is going to, spring a little bit more and see if we can use them, but they are free to do boxing or MMA if, we don't have anything else for them.
Okay. And for you, feather in your cap, both these guys, I know we're talking to other promotions, both of them recently fighting for big promotions, Luke UFC, Eddie won. For them to choose you, for you to get them, what does this mean for you?
I mean, it's big for the company. It's big for the growth of the company to know that we can, now we're playing ball with pretty much everybody now. We have more views on our fights than any other combat sport promotion except for the UFC right now. So, this is another step up that we're taking. I think it won't be too long before we're, everybody in the combat sports world knows who we are. I think we're on a great path right now, and to make these kind of big signings, what it does for the other guys that are, fighting the stars that we're trying to groom right now, it gives them, these guys are going to tune in to watch a Luke Rockhold and watch a Eddie Alvarez fight Chad Mendes, and then they're going to see these tremendous guys that we're grooming at BKFC on the undercard, and they're going to be future stars of BKFC. But for right now, we're doing what we have to do to get eyeballs onto this promotion that we're doing, and onto especially this fight card. And it's going to be an amazing fight card. It's going to sell out fast. It's going to definitely be our most viewed event that we've ever done, and we couldn't be any more excited about it.
I know that in the past you've talked about signing potential free agents, the Nathan Diaz's of the world, the Francis Ngannou's of the world, et cetera. And perhaps people kind of rolled their eyes and said, like, there's no chance that BK can get these guys. Do you feel like you're starting to get more respect, not only from the community, but also from the representatives, the fighters themselves? Like, they know that when you're coming to talk to them, that you mean business.
Absolutely. I mean, that's certainly the case now. The case before was, they wouldn't return my phone calls. They didn't want to talk to me at all. And now, I'm one of the top 4 or 5 calls that they're making when they have a free agent. And, we are being taken seriously. I mean, we do have incredible growth. We have incredible views. Everything that we're doing, we're going all over the world now. We'll have events in 8 different countries in 2023 in 18 different states. So we're doing some big things. And I think that, they have to start taking us seriously now. Before, even with the media, I said, the media didn't want to write about us, and then they weren't going to have, any choice. They were going to have to write about us because we were doing big things, and we're doing big things. So, they have to start taking us a little more seriously. And I'm glad that we're at this phase of our growth. I didn't think it was coming this fast, but, we're supercharged, man. We're really, really ready to make a run for, a top spot in combat sports right now. Not the top spot. Look, we know where we are.
Right.
We know what the UFC is. We know what the monster they are. But to be a very big player in combat sports, I think we're right there.
So the last time we spoke, it was to discuss the Triller acquisition. Is this a byproduct of that? Has it been going well, and is this part of the reason why you can make deals like this?
Yeah, I mean, they brought the funding to us that we needed to have to be able to make these kind of signings, to be able to bring more people on our team, and to be able to take care of the guys that were already there. It was a really, really good deal for us, and they've been great partners to us, and they're helping us really expand and blow up.
How many states is BK legal in now?
We're legal in 24 states now. We expect to be legal in 32 by the end of 2023. And then we'll probably push for another 4 or 5 of those states. Some of the bigger ones we're pushing for right now. And I think we're making great progress. We're following the same kind of path the UFC did, right. When they wanted to get sanctioned. They didn't know what it was. And that's really just the only thing that stops us now is people's preconceived perception of what this is. And then once they watch it, and, they look into it and they're like, wow, this is something a little different than I thought it was. I thought it was going to be like a backyard street fight. I thought it was going to be an unpolished product, but it's a very polished product with some of the best combat sports athletes in the world on our roster now.
And do you think it's possible to get to 50? Do you think it's possible to be legal in the entire country?
Probably 49.
49.
And I won't tell you that 50th state because I don't want to cause any enemies, but there's one state out there that just doesn't like us right now.
Really? Can I take a guess?
Yes.
Nevada?
No, not really Nevada. Nevada is, they're friendly to us. Close.
I think it's, California.
Yeah,
my good friend Andy Foster. But I do think it's crazy, by the way, that Nevada sanctions Slap League and not you guys. How's that possible?
Well, I mean, we're going after sanctioning now. We didn't really go after sanctioning because we knew we had to crawl before we walk. And now we're walking. And I think it's a great time for us to go after sanctioning. And we're making a move at it. And the commission has been responsive to us. I don't think that they're going to slam the door in our face. Time will tell. But I don't think they are. And I think that I think you're going to see a BKFC event in Nevada by the end of this year.
Wow.
Could be beginning of next year, but I think it's going to happen. Again, not 100% sure, but they've been receptive. They've been working with us. So I think it's something that can happen.
How many events do you hope to do in 2023?
We're going to do between 38 and 42, depending on one country that's coming on board.
Wow. Which country is that?
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria.
It seems like a country that wouldn't really be one of them, but it's one of the countries that we're definitely going to be doing a show there. We plan on doing 4 shows this year. It looks like we're only probably going to do 1 show. And we're also attempting to do a show in the early fall in Japan. So
wow.
I think Japanese fans would be all over BKFC.
Wow. That is tremendous. And so for this card coming up on April 29th, the one headlined by Platinum Perry, Luke Rockhold, Eddie Alvarez, Chad Mendes, just announced moments ago. Where can people watch it?
It's actually going to be a pay-per-view event for us. an inexpensive pay-per-view, $49.99. I think it's a reasonable price for this level of quality that we have on this card. It's, we have to do it, obviously, to be able to pay for these guys.
Sure.
So we're going to be doing a pay-per-view. I think it's going to perform very well. We have a major partner that we're hoping to announce by the end of the week on that pay-per-view front. But until then, we'll be on every satellite provider and every linear provider, really, in the United States and Canada.
And when you say major provider, do you mean like a platform that will air this?
Yeah, we're working on something right now. Hopefully that thing gets done by the end of the week. We're working on something strong, but I was hoping to be able to make that announcement here with you, but we just couldn't get it done.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. I appreciate you trying. And would this be the exclusive provider, or would this be in addition to the traditional in-demands, DirecTVs, etc.?
Non-exclusive. We're not going to go into anything exclusive yet. We're in talks with some really good deals. We have some good relationships with some major networks now. Again, it just took time. It took time for people to see that it wasn't the perception that they thought it was, and that we were doing these professional fights and these great combat sports athletes, from the undercard all the way up into the main event. I mean, we have I always say this, we might not have the best boxers in the world, we may not have the best MMA fighters in the world, but we've got the baddest men and women in the world that fight for our promotion. I mean, they're tough people. And, I couldn't be happier to have them on our roster, and hopefully making a lot of those guys the next stars in BKFC.
Do you have any theory as to why, like, a Luke Rockhold and Eddie Alvarez willing to come over, and even it seems like the MMA media and community embrace you guys much more than the boxing community, even though this is technically more like boxing than MMA? Why do you think that is? Why does it seem like you're more MMA than boxing, even though the sport is actually more boxing than MMA?
Well, we had a tremendous outreach since our last Knucklemania event, when we had Austin Trout fight Diego Sanchez, and he spoke very, very highly of us and the way we treated him, and a lot of really top professional boxers are now calling us. I think it was just, again, a little bit of fear of getting hit with a bare knuckle. They didn't really know what it was, and he let them know what it was. It is, it's different. A little braise can cause an abrasion on you. You know what I mean? It's a little different, but you're not getting the major head trauma. You're not getting the bad injuries that you are in these other sports. But it's an awesome sport. It's exciting. It's a little bloody. It's what people want to see. I think why these guys are coming over to us, Ariel, as you mentioned, is I think if they cross over to another MMA promotion, I think the fans are just going to say, hey, they're signed with another MMA promotion, they're going to fight over here. It's not as exciting as saying, wow, these guys are taking off the gloves and trying a whole different sport against top tier guys that have already fought in this sport. So I think that's intriguing to them. I think their profile blows up a little bit by doing that. And I think it's also a bucket list thing for some of these guys, and then they think it's a bucket list thing for them, and then they end up wanting to fight more and more with us. But it's just all part of the growth of BKFC.
Someone just asked me earlier before we connected with you about Francis Ngannou. Any type of confidence that you're able to bring him over?
No, I don't think we're going to bring him over. He's the dollar amount. Look, I'm honest. I'm straight up.
I appreciate that.
I go after guys that I think I can go after, but when they started talking the numbers that they wanted, it wasn't in our wheelhouse right now.
Got it. What about Diaz?
Diaz, we're having ongoing conversations with him, but he's we're gonna have some of his guys fight on our March and April cards, and
nice.
Hopefully he should be in attendance, and we're looking to do some things with him, and we're gonna see what happens. I'm not really sure what he wants to do. He's got a lot of scar tissue, and getting hit with a bare knuckle might not be great for him. Might be great for him. We'll find out as these next couple of weeks go by. But his team's been great to deal with. Really, really great to deal with. Zach Rosenfeld. It's just been awesome.
One of my favorite people that I've ever met in the combat sports business. Zach is tremendous. And could I ask? I mean, you don't have to give me the number, but Luke, Eddie, are they making more than they were making in the UFC and ONE respectively before coming over?
I really don't know what Eddie was making in ONE. I read about a $10 million deal and, all these fights. And if it's that, then no, he's not. But I think he's making more than he made in most of his UFC fights. I think they're going to bring a lot of eyeballs to us. I think this is a good card. And, Do you think it's a good card?
Oh, I'm intrigued. Yes.
I think it's a card that's going to get a lot of MMA fans going, wow, that's a really good card.
Yeah. What about Luke? I would imagine this is more than he was making in the UFC.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, it was enough to get him to sign. What I'm saying is, he had other offers over there, and a one-off and options, and being able to fight in boxing or MMA, if he needs to and wants to, then we're open to that. Like I said before, we want these guys. We want to get their big bang up front, and then once we get their big bang, if they want to come back to us, we welcome them. But if they want to go somewhere else, then they can do that as well. But they give us that big bang on this show, and it's going to be great for us. It's going to be great for them. It's going to be great for the fans. It's going to be just a tremendous, tremendous event. And like I said, on to bigger and better things, because we're these networks that wouldn't even answer our call, or now we're in negotiations with. So a lot of things are really growing very, very well for BKFC, and we're in a great place, and I'm very, very happy at the progress. Got a great, great, loyal, hardworking team, and some of the baddest men and women on the planet on our roster.
Well, your PR guy Bernie is one of my favorites as well, so he is among that team. Love Bernie, and he reminded me before this show that your 5th anniversary is coming up. Who'd have thought? June 2nd, 2018, you debut in Wyoming. Back then, if someone would have said, yeah, in less than 5 years, you're signing an Eddie Alvarez and a Luke Rockhold to do this, I don't know if a lot of people would have thought. I doubt you would have thought that would be possible, right? In 4.5 years.
No, I mean, look, like I said, we're vying for the biggest names out there. And did I think we were going to do this? Not yet. No, certainly not. But, here we are, and we're putting on this hell of a card in Denver on April 29th. And I really can't wait for it. It's going to be, the biggest and best card that we've ever put on. And then we move on to, like I said, we have, after that event, I think we have another 28, 30 events for the remainder of the year. So, it's going to be a busy, busy year for us. It's a big growth year for us. We just signed some big time sponsorships. And like I said, we're talking to these various platforms. We're also just signed deals we're now in 42 different countries with licensing deals around the country. So the growth, went from 2 deals to 4 deals to 6 deals in last year to 42 deals this year. So, they're seeing something that they like. And like I said, the baddest men and women out there, and there's no BS with this type of fighting. It's real fighting. Not that MMA isn't, not that boxing isn't. I grew up in that. It's just that it's different. It's different, and it's fast paced. It's exciting. It's perfect for today's ADD society. It's just it's for them. It's a great, great product.
BKFC 41, co-headlined by Platinum Perry versus Luke Rockhold, Eddie Alvarez versus Chad Mendes. But BKFC 37 is this weekend, March 4th in London, your 3rd show in London, so you've got a few before you get there. Thank you very much for coming on and breaking this news. Very exciting stuff. Congratulations to you and the team. All the best this weekend. Moving forward, it's been a crazy thing to watch grow so fast, and very much looking forward to the future.
As always, thank you, Ariel. I appreciate everything.
There he is, Dave Feldman, the founder of BKFC. So he just broke some massive news. Luke Rockhold versus Platinum Perry, main event. Saw some of you out there thinking that was going to be part of the announcement. None of y'all thought that Eddie Alvarez was coming over. Didn't see that anywhere against Chad Mendes, the underground king from freaking, the mean streets of Kensington, to freaking Elite XC, to freaking UFC, to freaking Pit Stop and Strike Force, to freaking One Championship, Bellator, and everywhere in between. Now he heads to Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship against one Chad Mendes. What a fight. That's co-main event. Mystery guest number 1. It is the underground king, Mr. Eddie Alvarez, the newly signed Eddie Alvarez. This is true, Eddie? You're going there? BKFC?
You heard it, Ariel. What's up, my man?
Man, congratulations. This is wild stuff. No one saw this coming. I think some people were hearing about the Luke thing. This is completely out of left field. So tell us, first off, congrats. Thank you for doing this. Why did you choose them? Why are you choosing to go this route?
Thank you. So a while back when Bare Knuckle started, Dave's a Philly guy, the promoter. They're from Philadelphia. The Feldman's been widely known in boxing in Philadelphia. So I knew Dave for a long time. I've always been under contract, but I've always talked to Dave, always congratulated him about how the promotion was coming along. And Bare Knuckle's been always something I've been interested in. And I got to go to a local event. I got to go to like an event in Miami not long ago. Not Miami, in Hollywood, Florida, about a couple months back. And after going to that event, my mind was pretty much made up. It was really about from there just finding the right opponent, find the right guy to match up with that's gonna that'll get me excited. That fans are gonna like really get excited about the matchup.
Okay, so what was it about that event that made you think, all right, this is where this is what I want to do. This is where I want to be.
The event itself, Shaq was there. The fight itself, every fight was figured out in about 3 minutes. And it reminded me, like, when I first started, like, I never fought an MMA fight. I got in a lot of street fights when I was younger. I got in way more street fights than ever been in cage fights. So, like, I remember, like, when I got in fights never lasted 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20, 25 minutes. Fights got figured out in 2, 3 minutes about, like, a real fight with no gloves got figured out pretty quickly. And this reminded me right away, like, if you took the gloves off, what takes us 25 minutes today gets figured out pretty quickly in bare knuckle. And it's about as real as it gets. And reminds me when I was younger, it got me excited all over again.
And so what is the situation as far, like, is this a one-off for you? Can you still do MMA? Can you do boxing? Dave told us that they have options for your next fight. I guess it depends on both of you. Like, can you explain from your perspective, your deal? Is this just a one-off? And can you do MMA at the same time? What's going on?
Yeah, I pretty much do what I like. But like, I partnered with Dave and partnered with this group, and like kind of look forward to. We'll see how this goes. It's a new venture for me. It's something I'm excited about, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I can do whatever I want.
Wow.
I can do this. But I do have options. Me and Dave work together closely. Awesome dude. And we work together. We're going to work together like pretty much closely and figure out what we're going to do after this fight to kind of move forward, to kind of help not just move myself, but move the promotion as well. I can see myself kind of just the training and everything that's going on. I can see myself getting excited about this and doing this more often.
By the way, speaking of the training, we're getting a good look at your knuckles right now, and I see on your right hand, 2 of them are a little bit messed up. Like, have you started already? What's going on? I see like a piece of your skin off over there. Have you been practicing? Have you been training already? What's going on?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'm already a good month. I'm already good month or so in. Me and Mark Henry kind of already took off. We've already took off the gloves. Already kind of doing a lot of strength and condition on wrists, forearms, so things don't bend the way they would bend if you're not wrapped tightly. But kind of working on them nuances, because like I said, like, I've been in a ton of street fights, and like, your hands when they're bare, they break and things twist and you can't use them. So there's a whole nother element to this sport than what people think. It's not just like MMA isn't 2 guys in there swinging at each other. So this sport is unique in itself. You got to throw certain type of punches. If you throw the wrong punches, you hit a forehead, you hit an elbow, you can break your hand. So there is a technique and there are elements that need to be detailed inside of the sport that make it fun, that definitely bring it. You have to put these in mind when you're going to go do the fights. Me and Mark Henry are even doing rounds with one hand. We're already expecting, hey, the right hand's gone or the left hand's gone. We got to be able to finish the fight with one hand. So like, there's elements to this that people don't understand. Like, after watching it, that I'm already excited that we're already training and getting ready for it. We're already anticipating.
What's it like after so many years of hitting mitts, training with gloves, to all of a sudden not having gloves on?
I never liked training with heavy gloves, like the 12 ounce or doing mitts with that stuff. The whole camp, and then putting on MMA gloves, because that always felt weird to me, doing that. So the idea of just having bare hands, I don't keep my bare hands the whole week. I just do it twice a week. And then the other days to kind of baby them, get them back to normal. And then slowly I'll get into 3 days, 4 days a week with bare hands. But I don't know, it's a little different. Everything's different about it, and it gets me excited. I've been doing MMA since I was 19. That's 2 decades of MMA. So it's fun to kind of throw something new at me. Throwing Chad. Chad's like a crazy good opponent. Fought world champion after world champion. He's only lost to world champion, world-class fighters. And Chad's a dog. So it's just a new element, a new sport against a worthy opponent. So like all of it and combined, I'm really excited about it.
Does this mean potentially that your MMA career is over?
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I'll fight MMA again for sure.
Okay. How many years do you have left?
Yeah. I don't know, Aaron. I told you, plans are for schemers. Never been plans are for schemers. I've never been a big planner.
Okay.
I don't know what's going to happen, tomorrow. So I'm just taking it one fight at a time. I'm enjoying myself, doing things that I enjoy. I think I spent a long period of my career fighting because I had to. Now I can pick and choose what I want to do. It's a good feeling to be able to pick and choose what I actually want to do versus what I have to do. So I'm excited. Fans should be excited because I'm sitting down on these punches and they're going to go through someone's head. I'm sure Chad's going to do the same exact thing. And neither one of us are going to get out of there within 10 minutes. Something terrible is going to happen. And I think people should be excited about what's about to happen April 29th.
By the way, dare I ask, you're a family man. You have a lovely family, kids, wife. What did they think when you told them that you were going to do this?
They don't. Look, my wife been wanting me to stop fighting since I started. She's a rider. She's been with me from the beginning. My wife. But yeah, we could be done this whenever we want, and everyone in my family will be happy. But they know me. They know where my heart is. I'm a fighter's fighter. I've always been one. And, I took 24 months off to rest and heal and try to find the right opponent and something that would excite me. I haven't fought in a good 2 years. There ain't nothing out there. Like, what's retirement going to do? There's nothing out there. What am I going to do? Everything's boring. None's as fun and exciting as fighting. Nothing.
Why were you out for so long?
I got out of me and one kind of made that split. And then the idea was I'm going to make that split and then I'm not signing with anybody until I get to do something I want to do. And we sat down, we talked with a couple different people, and it was like, if the money's not right and the opponent's not right and these things aren't right, then I'm just not going to do them because I don't have to. So this worked out. Everything was right. And more importantly, we got a fight in front of us that fans can get excited about. I wasn't going to do a fight just to do a fight. I wasn't going to do it. I'd rather just sit home and enjoy myself or do the other stuff that I do outside of fighting rather than fight needlessly.
By the way, did you talk to any training partners, friends who have fought in BKFC? And did you ask them, hey, what is this like? What's,
I don't have any training partners or friends inside. I don't really have any. And I don't think I need them to tell me what it's like. This is how I started my career before I ever fought. So between 16 years old and 19 years old, and maybe into my MMA career, I was still getting in street fights. So I'm familiar with what's about to happen. I'm familiar with what's about to go down.
When was the last time you had a legit street fight? How old were you?
Oh, man. I don't know. Probably in my 20s. In the beginning of my MMA career, I was still a little bit wild, still a little bit going out and stuff like that. So it's been a while since I had to do it, and I don't want to get in a street.
No,
I don't want to fight anybody if it's not for $1. So but yeah, it's been a while since anything like that went down.
That was a common thing though in your early days?
Too common.
Too common. Every time you went out?
Too common.
Were you looking for trouble, or were people trying?
You can sit down and do an interview with my wife or my friends or anybody who was close to with me from 17 to 22 years old. It became so common that I started fighting and saying, hey, I should get paid for this, so I'm going to do it for a living. And I've never lost a street fight. And come April 29th, I don't intend to.
I love that. That's a great promo right there. That's a great. By the way, I always love your take on the business, and you have always been a trailblazer, right? Going out there, getting the big deals, navigating the waters, fighting for different people. Your take on the business right now, the MMA business, with the suitors out there, with the players out there. How do you feel? Is it strong? Is it not strong? How do you feel about the state of the business right now?
It depends on it depends on the person who's in free agency. You know what I mean? Like, I tell every fighter this from the very beginning, like, stop depending on promotions to promote you, because it's not going to happen. You have to promote you. You have to put on the fights. You have to knock the guys out in front of you. And then you have to build your own value. You can't depend on the UFC. You can't depend on Bellator. You can't depend on even bare knuckle. You can't depend on these promotions to make you who you are. You have to become that. You got to get the opponents in front of you and put them away, fight in an exciting fashion. And you have to build your own value. UFC's not going to do that for you. No one's going to do that for you.
I saw you tweeting about how they handled the Francis Ngannou departure. How did you feel about that?
I've been a part of them negotiations. You know what I mean? I've been a part of them in that room, trying to negotiate my worth, trying to explain to companies that, look, as a free agent, you're worth double, triple, quadruple what I'm getting paid here. Please, let's just compromise on an even smaller amount than what I get as a free agent, and it's tough. There's not much of a negotiation that goes on. So the only way to gain leverage is to become a free agent. The only way to gain leverage is fight out your contract, become a free agent, take that risk, kind of, and believe in yourself. Believe that there's someone out there who's going to pay for your fights because you're worth it.
Do you have any regrets?
No, I don't have regrets, Ciryl, because I don't think too long. I don't want to say I don't think too long. I'm pretty thorough in what I do. Like when I make a deal, because it's not just me on the line. It's my family, my wife, my kids, the comfort of our life. All that goes into where I'm going to go, what I'm going to do, and who I'm going to fight. And I don't do that quickly. I never do that quickly. So when I make my decision, I usually thought about it very long, very hard. I did my research, and then I strike. I strike once. So and I don't regret the things I did. I regret the things I didn't do. There's very few things that I didn't do. Like if I want to do something and I feel like it's in my heart and it doesn't go away, I do it. I don't second guess myself. I don't do that. So no, I don't have many regrets at all. Not just in my career, but in my life period. And
by the way, without getting into specifics, I am hearing that BK is, they're paying top dollar these days. Like their purses are equal to anyone out there, if not more. Do you feel like you got a good deal here? Are you happy with this deal?
Anybody who knows me and follows me or been through my career and my free agencies and whatever knows I don't go somewhere if they're not paying. So,
I love it.
I'm here, boy.
I'm
here.
One last one before I let you go. Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor quite well. Who do you think wins that fight?
Mike Chandler ain't shit. And UFC, just so people know, just so all the fans know right here, right now, I know fans wanted that fight. I know fans wanted me versus Mike Chandler 3. Just so you all know, I'm going to put it out in the clear. I try to make that fight happen. I try to make the fight happen. It's not on me. So if I hear anything, a tweet or Instagram or whatever from a fan saying, hey, Mike Chandler, Eddie Alvarez 3 never happened, and you didn't try to do that trilogy. I tried to make that fight happen not once, not twice, but 3 times. And it's just not going to happen. That guy, he does not want to fight me, and the fight just never got made. So it's not on me, just so people know.
And so just so they know, you're saying it's not on you. Who is it on?
It's on the promotion or on whatever. It's wherever they're at. But I try to make the fight happen. I'm just making that clear for people, just so I don't ever hear from anybody about a Mike Chandler, Eddie Alvarez 3. I did everything I could numerous times to fight that guy a third time. So
ever get close?
And I think if I had to guess,
yeah,
Mike Chandler don't wrestle. So I mean, if he stands with Connor's going to knock him out. So, and it's a mismatch because Mike Chandler's defense sucks. He doesn't have good defense boxing. He throws bombs, but Connor's way too fast and way too quick to get hit with anything Mike Chandler's throwing. So I feel like, I don't know. I feel like Mike should wrestle and wrestle quickly and use that. And if he doesn't, he's going to be a bad night.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Oh, what is going on?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sounds like you're annoyed though about all of this. Like you said, he ain't shit. Like that you tried to make this happen, and this bothers you. Is that fair?
Yeah, because there was a point in my free agency where Mike Chandler was becoming a free agent.
Yeah.
As well, I called them directly, him and his management, and said, "Let's make this fight. Don't re-sign with anyone. Become a free agent." And it was when I was leaving UFC and he was about to get out of his Bellator contract. We had a casual conversation. He was excited about it. Said, "Yeah, that's a great idea." He went and re-signed with Bellator. We could have made millions having a third fight. We could have walked into 3 or 4 different promoters' offices and did great. He went back and signed for like a few $100,000 for Bellator. Then again, I'm a free agent again. We have another possibility of making this fight happen. Boom, it doesn't happen again. So I did my part. That's all. And I didn't.
Still here. Yeah, I'm still here.
To be honest, I didn't want to ask for the fight. I don't know if it was my ego or my whatever. I didn't want to ask for this fight because I don't want to deal with who I had to deal with to ask for the fight. I didn't want to ask for it, but I sat down. I spoke with my wife, and she's like, "Are you gonna, will you regret knowing that you didn't do everything it took to not make the fight?" I go, "Yeah, I will." So I just try to make it happen. So that's all. I want to get that clear for fans. That's all. That's all I want to get clear for.
And dead in your mind now? Will you ever try to make it, or are you moving on?
No, I don't. It's not. I don't see a way.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Just being realistic, I just don't see a way.
Okay. Last thing, April 29th. How do you see it playing out?
I'm gonna knock Chad Mendes out. There's not a doubt in my mind. Not a doubt, because this isn't MMA where I got to worry about a takedown and I got to pop around and move around and do all this crazy stuff because I'm worried about kicks and takedowns. I'm going to sit down on every single shot that I throw. And if I sit down and throw a shot with my bare hand, there's not a single man on this card who's going to be able to take that. Not a single man.
I love it. Congratulations. Thank you for coming on. Good luck in training. My best to the great Mark Henry. Good luck April 29th, Eddie. When you're fighting, I'm watching. I'll be watching April 29th. Can't wait.
Thank you, guys. Thank you to everyone who tunes in and watches me and has been for the last 2 decades. Let's go, boys.
Much love, Eddie. Thank you. Good luck to you. There he is, the great Eddie Alvarez, the Underground King. I wanted to ask... I messed up earlier. We were up against the clock, and earlier today, Todd Duffy hit me up about asking Dave Feldman about him fighting Rothwell, and then he mentioned Rothwell, and then I was like, oh yeah, I got to ask that, and in my mind, I was talking to myself, and then he said that they already had the opponent, so I'm like, let me tuck this in my back pocket.
Gonna have to call him back.
Yeah. One second.
Are you groaning?
I'm writing. I'm trying to tell you guys that I'm talking to him right now. He's saying that there is interest. So, Todd, I'm working on this for you. Okay, Todd, I'm working on this. Had a tough night against Phil DeFries, but I'm working on this for him. Now, that's Eddie Alvarez, April 29th, going up against Chad Mendes, co-main event. You just heard about 45 minutes ago from Dave Feldman himself that the main event is going to be Platinum Mike Perry against Luke Rockhold. Luke Rockhold, mystery guest number 2. Here he is, the man who was signed with BKFC, just chilling in his car, no longer a free agent. Luke, I got to be honest, when we spoke, I don't know, a month and a half or so ago, 2 months, when you got your free pass from the UFC, this was not at the top of my list. I did not think that you would go the BKFC route. Why did you go the BKFC route? And by the way, congratulations on the deal.
Thank you. It's an offer I couldn't refuse. And I'm still a free agent. That's the beauty of life. That's the beauty of where we're at and where we're going to keep it. BKFC, I mean, I'm loyal to them for sure if we stay in that space. But this is a one-term bound agreement. And they gave me a fight with Mike Perry as the main event for this groundbreaking fight. I love it. I mean, Mike Perry's he's a little dog. I like what's in front of me, and I like the opponent, and I like the fucking stage, and it's fucking new. It's different, and it's challenging. It's fucking scary, and it's fucking fun, and I love it. It's fighting. Fighting is straight to the roots of fighting. Yeah. And it's just so fucking pure. There's something about it when you put on your, like standing in front of a man and just, you have to think differently. It's a different game, and it's back to when where it all began for most of us. I think anybody from the early days of fighting was a street fighter. All these new kids are MMA fighters now. They're growing into it now. But like a lot of us growing up, we all started in the game. So it's I'm making it as real as possible.
So to be clear, and I kind of love this. So they just signed you to a 1-fight deal. Now you can go back. Like there's an option there to where you can stick around. But if you wanted to sign with a MMA promotion, you could do that as well. No strings attached, no issues.
I could go to an MMA promotion. I could go back to the UFC. I could fucking drop a people's elbow off the top rope if I wanted. Winning, I fucking want. Wow. That's the beauty of bare knuckles changing the game. And I'm just here to ride my wave, not anybody else's. I've done that for too long. And I'm happy to be here with bare knuckle and Dave and the crew. I think they're doing fucking cool shit. And if you ever watched any of the events, they're putting on shows every week. And they're fucking showing up, and it's fighting.
And so let me ask you: did they approach you, or did you approach them? How did this start?
They approached me.
Wow.
They approached us. They reached out, and I was like, "Fucking," You laugh at it, and then they said Mike Perry, and then they started, dropping some the lay of the land. Let's just say the lay of what they have and what they proposed is fucking. They're next level, and Mike Perry just sounds like a lot of fucking fun. I'll tell you that.
And so this is 185, 5 2-minute rounds, correct?
5 2-minute rounds, 185. I believe I get 186.
Oh yeah, okay, non-title fight. That's nice. And so just out of
I don't want to make 185.
Sure. And just out of curiosity, better purse than what you were getting in your last UFC fight? Much better.
They take care of the fighters, man. They take care of the people, and they give you what you're worth for sure. And it's like I'm happy to go in there. I'm happy to train. I'm happy to take my training camp with me straight to Denver. I'm going to get this right this time. I'm headed on my way to. I just left sparring right now. Headed to get some hyperbaric and some CVAC. Get my body adjusted for the elevation because we're going back to Denver, going back to elevation. So, I plan on spending the whole month out there this time and get that shit right.
How far in advance did you go last time? Of course, your last fight was in Denver against Paulo Costa. So this time a month. How long did you go last time?
Last fight was at altitude, Ariel, but it wasn't in Denver. It was in Utah.
Oh, that's right. Fuck. Yes, you're right. Jesus.
Thought you Mr. Facts. Mr. Facts.
No, because you said going back to Denver, and I was like, oh yeah, last night. So you screwed me up. Of course. Yes. You did say back to Denver, so that screwed me up. But fair enough. That's on me. I'll take it.
I got there about a week in advance last time. This one, I want to be there. I would be at least. I'm coming right after Cheeto's fight, so I'll be there for 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
Okay. Wow. Now you mentioned training. What about the training? Like, what are you doing? We were just talking to Eddie Alvarez, and he says he's hitting mitts. He's doing it all bare knuckle. Are you doing the same?
I mean, you got to condition your hands for sure a little bit more. My hands have been so good for so many years. I mean, I've been fighting for 20 years, so I've never had a problem with my hands recently in like last 10, 15 years, really. So I'm confident in my hands. I'm still going to do what I have to do to strengthen that. Like I said, with my legs have took such punishment. So it's nice to just focus on my boxing, which I've been doing since I've quote unquote retired. That was the big shtick, was just my body just can't take the rest of it. But the boxing avenue is fun. It's fun and it's exciting. It's new. And yeah, trying to understand the game of bare knuckle is a little different for sure, but I think I can take advantage of my clinch work, take advantage of my length, take advantage of my size. I don't think this fucking kid understands I'm big, I hit hard, and you're not going to fucking, I know it's a different game, how he's going to approach it, but I'm very confident in my abilities here and how to find my spot, pick him up the fuck off.
Obviously, your coach, Jason Perillo, has a background in boxing, so it's not like you have to go to a new camp or gym or anything like that, right?
I mean, I've been working my boxing with at Churchill with my boy Pedro, but I have Perillo and me. I have such good chemistry, and we understand the game. I mean, we both been in a few fights ourselves throughout the years in our lives, so I think we're picking up on this thing. It's not rocket science, man. This is fighting, but there's it's footwork. There's a lot of different little techniques. Obviously, the clinch work, being sharp in the clinch. There's no room for error in the clinch because you just it's no gloves. There's nothing there, and you just got to be sharp with the shots and not leave any openings. We were doing some clinch work today, and fuck, man, it's not good for people to get hit inside the shit. My boy. Just in some accidental shots, just get bruised up quick for sure, and that could change the pace of a fight.
Since we last spoke, when you announced that you were a free agent, was there anyone that came close to this deal? Were you in the MMA world? I know you said boxing was of interest. Were there any deals that you were mulling over, or was this the best by far?
This was the given the opponent, the payday, the stage. I think this was the best opportunity for sure. There's other opportunities still on the table right now.
Okay, for
sure, and a lot in the mix. But this is exciting, and this is new, and this is what intrigues me the most. And so I think bare knuckle is breaking ground, and I'm ready to do that with them.
I love it. It seems like you're excited. It seems like you're rejuvenated. Perhaps even a few sponsors on the shorts once again, like the old days, right? How about that?
Hey, it's amazing the freedom that they give. Yeah, you can actually do your own fucking thing, live your own life, not be a fucking slave. So I'm done being a fucking slave, and I'm excited to be partnered with bare knuckle and do this thing right. Give the fans, I think it brings out the best in a fighter too. You know what I mean? When you're not enslaved into that shit, and that you're fighting for yourself and your own worth and what you can be worth.
To that point, by the way, I think when we spoke, the Francis situation hadn't broken yet. How do you feel about how that was handled, and are you surprised that he left?
I'm not surprised he left. I've always been a fan of Francis and always had good rapport with Francis, and we all have the same ideology about the situations that we've encountered with the UFC. I think fucking good for him, man. Go do your thing and have that freedom and have that integrity. People are just such fucking just UFC dick suckers. So I'm tired of that shit. You gotta go out there and you gotta realize there's more to this game, and it's not just what their narrative tells the world. It's fucking bullshit. And they have built an amazing machine, no doubt, but they've this everything they're doing right now, they're promoting slap boxing on the same level, and this is like you see more of that than you see fighting. It's like there's fucking real fights going on. They're putting a bunch of fucking guys that have no skill, no talent, no nothing, and putting them in a fucking Ultimate Fighter household show and doing that shit. Like, if that's where they want to spend their attention, they can go do that. I'd rather go fight real fighters, and that's. And Francis is fucking gonna get paid too. Fuck, I mean, we're all here to get paid. Francis can go do a deal with, get fucking, who knows? I don't know, 35 million a fight, maybe 50. Who knows? I mean, what does that sell? I mean, if he fights Tyson Fury, it's a big fucking payday.
Right.
Other than what was his payday with the UFC? What was he at? Like 8 million for 3 fights?
The one that they offered, or the one that he actually fought at?
No, what they offered.
When they offered, yeah, in that range,
3 fights.
Yeah.
Not 1 fight, 3 fights.
Right.
Francis should be fight.
Yeah.
At minimum. He's the fucking heavyweight king. One of the baddest motherfuckers that ever lived. The baddest motherfucker on the planet right now, getting paid fucking pennies comparatively to boxers that couldn't hold a candle to him. Yeah. I think he's doing his thing right, and I think he's doing, you gotta live with fucking integrity.
Right. By the way, did you watch the Jake Paul fight on Sunday? And if so, your thoughts?
I watched afterwards. I watched a little bit of it. He was what I thought he was. He's a one-trick pony. I don't know. I mean, he just waits for the overhand right, and he doesn't think his way through fights, and that's the thing. Or he doesn't have enough dog in him, and he doesn't think his way through fights. He's trying. I'll give him that. He's fucking trying. But I mean, it couldn't beat Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury is like, yeah. Tommy Fury showed more than I've seen in his last couple outings. So at least he stepped up. But who knows what that looks like really against anybody who's real? Because who knows how real. When he fights a guy his own size, you finally get something that it's relevant.
Is there any chance you love this BK stuff that gets you even more into boxing, and your days of MMA are done forever?
I mean, there's a real look at that for sure. I feel like I'm. I took so many years off. It took 3 years off, and then coming back to MMA was a lot. And that whole venture back was like I did nothing for 3 years really, but just fuck off. And so coming back was a stretch. And you take so much punishment from grappling to kicking and all these things, and just getting my body back into that realm. It was a lot to handle. Obviously, going into a tough fight like that I had with Paulo at altitude, all the circumstances, but after the fact, it's like I found my love for fighting again, and the journey of health, of just being in shape and learning, and inspires me to be better, be a better athlete, be a better fucking man, and pursue perfection of athletic fighting. I love fighting.
I love it. You seem rejuvenated. You seem excited. You don't seem to have, the last few times that we spoke before the release, you were kind of upset, you were mad, you were fighting the world. Doesn't feel like that guy is in front of me right now. This is a lovely thing to see.
Yeah, because you have freedom to do what you want. It's like with the UFC, when you're fighting for what they've contracted you, that they've sucked you into a long, long time ago, and you have no freedom to go get sponsors elsewhere, and you're fighting for fucking pennies. That's not fun. That's not fun. That's not exciting. And being a free agent, getting paid, and having that freedom to seek out new ventures. Like I'm my own promotion, and then that's what it is. I'm not fighting for anybody else anymore. I've built my name, my abilities, and my audience to this stage, and I am my own promotion, and I'm gonna fucking fight where I want to fight, what I want to fight for what I want to fight for, and that's fun.
And now that you're in this BK world, I don't know if you just saw this morning, Darren Till is gone, your weight class. Did you see that? Darren Till's a free agent now. He was released. And then he tweeted some boxing emoji thing. Paulo Costa, 1 fight left. I feel like you can have a couple of big fights over there with these guys.
You could. Yeah, definitely. One at a time, Focus on Mike Perry. But at the same time, I think what's inspiring for me at this point is to be able to do different things too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm definitely, if I go back into the bare knuckle world, I'm gonna be with them for sure. But to be able to go box and the likes of other people, or maybe too scared to put on no gloves, I maybe want to put on some gloves. It'd be fun to mix it up. It's about opponents, it's about stage, and it's about obviously paydays. Let's get paid.
Last thing, how do you see it going down on April 29th? Like, how do you envision this?
I envision Mike being Mike, coming forward, fucking dumb, like he always does, and me fucking being smarter, hitting harder, and fucking you gotta. I mean, like Mike Perry. Does Mike Perry hit as hard as Jan Blachowicz? Does he hit as hard as Yoel Romero? Does he hit as hard as Paulo Costa? I don't fucking think so. Do you have to hit hard in this game? No, because there's obviously different avenues in the game. But have you ever seen me quit in a fight? You got to stop me. I mean, I don't care how many times you hit me in the face. If you don't put me out, I'm going to be fucking coming for your goddamn soul. And you know that, and I think everybody else knows it at this point. You got to put me away. Otherwise, I'm going to keep coming. But I don't think this kid's going to get to me. I think I'm going to be pick this motherfucker off from the outside, and I'm going to put him away. I don't see the kid getting past 2 rounds, if you want to see it in my mind. But I'm prepared. I'm going to go out there prepared like I always do for the toughest fight of my life. I'm going to make this shit easy.
That Ralph Lauren face, that model face, going to get all cut up? I mean...
Let's see Mike get to me first.
That's true.
But I'm not scared to get hit. I like getting hit. Fucking just makes me a little more fucking angry.
All right. Well, I can't wait. Congratulations, April 29th, the return of Luke Rockhold in BKFC. Who'd have thunk it? Against Platinum Mike Perry. Also, Eddie Alvarez versus Chad Mendez, and the return of Ben Rothwell as well. Congrats, Luke. Go get him. Good luck to you. Can't wait for it. Thanks for doing this.
Guys.
There he is. Man, Andy hated Luke. Got rid of him.
She could not ready to, yeah. Could not ready.
We like
but he
to
was
see
still
that
talking.
Part.
What happened to your mic earlier?
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't even touching it.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it? I wasn't even touching it.
We have a backup, though.
We do?
Yeah.
I got to say, the one thing I do like about these BK deals is that they're letting the guys have these one-offs. They're letting these guys go out there, sign a, MVP, Platinum Perry, great. One-off, nice. Go back to Bellator. Luke just said, one-off, go back. Eddie Alvarez, one-off. Tremendous. Looking forward to talking to our next guest. Should we do a quick ad read?
Sure.
Or should I read the last question of On the Nose?
I'm just the voice right now. Let's just do the question.
All right, we're going to do the question. One more question. Let me finish it up. It was a long one. That's why I skipped it.
We were wondering.
Yeah.
Some people suspected that maybe you just didn't see it.
No, it was just super long, and I knew we were up against the clock. All right, here's the last one. Joe, hey, Ariel. The unified rules of MMA prioritize effective grappling and striking, effective aggressiveness, and effective fighting area control in that order, or fighting area control. Effective striking is detailed as, this is such a long question. Legal blows that have immediate or cumulative impact with the potential to contribute towards the end of the match with the immediate weighing in more heavily than the cumulative impact. Cumulative. Note that the word damage doesn't even appear. And then somewhere along the line, the UFC decided they love the word damage. Seeing as damage is not only subjective. Hate it. I hate when people talk about damage. This isn't a video game where there's like a meter over there and you're like, oh, look at the damage. It's at -5 now. It doesn't work that way. But sometimes isn't even casually linked to the 3 criteria. Why have we allowed the UFC to redefine the rules simply because they wanted to? It's not only the UFC, by the way. Andy Foster has used that word. Mark Goddard has used that word. John McCarthy. Like, a lot of people use that word. I think it's maybe their way of summarizing it. I don't know. The definition of effective striking is sufficient, and not all effective striking / grappling ends in visible damage. Visible, quote unquote, being important because short of an obvious reaction from a fighter, you can't see some types of damage being inflicted. I think this issue has been missed and parroted by the MMA community without ever asking where it started. What do you think? Love your work. It's true. It's a great point. Why does everyone fixate on the word damage? It's a great point. Listen, it speaks to the larger issue. It's very hard to judge fights. The criteria is very subjective. It's very vague. It's hard to, to really understand what these guys are looking for or gals. And that's why sometimes we see these really, really close fights, the Islam Volk fights, the Gordon Patty fights, and a ton of others. It happens almost every month. And that will continue to happen. It starts with the 10-point must system. That's a tough model to adapt to MMA. And then it continues with the actual criteria, which is super subjective. In basketball, I know if I score more baskets than my opponent, I win. In football, I know if I score more points, touchdowns, field goals than my opponent, I win. In soccer, I know if the ball goes in the net. In fighting, and especially in MMA, it's a lot easier, in my opinion, to score a boxing match than an MMA fight. It's super subjective because you have things like effective striking. Why do I keep having trouble with that word? Effective striking / grappling, effective aggressiveness, fighting area control. It's like all super subjective. There's no way to actually monitor it the same as everyone else. So, yeah, I agree with everything that you're saying. Now, appreciate the comment. Appreciate the question. Appreciate everyone who sent us questions. Now, I'm very much looking forward to talking to our next guest. And the way this all came about was super interesting, as I said at the top of the show. So we finally tracked down Charles Oliveira. And when we booked him, unlike every other non-English speaking guest that we have on the show, they said, hey, can you provide a translator? And I said, yeah, sure. I lied. I was like, yeah, no problem. Then I had to find a translator. Now, the thing is, I don't know any translators. I certainly don't know a lot of people out there who speak Portuguese. But then I thought of my old friend, my very good friend, dare I say, BFF, longtime UFC octagon girl, Luciana Andrade. And she speaks Portuguese because she's from Brazil. And so I first asked her, hey, do you know any translators? There were a couple, couldn't really nail them down. And then I thought, hey, you're very smart. You're a paralegal. You've got a degree from USC, University of Southern California. Have you ever done this? No. Would you do it? Yes. And so we settled on that. But I didn't want to just have her on as a translator. I wanted to have her on as a guest as well. And so without further ado, first time in a very long time, we speak to an actual living, breathing UFC octagon girl. Hello, Luciana. Bom dia. How are you?
Hi, bom dia. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I gotta start by saying I'm not a paralegal. Ariel.
Fuck. Did it not say that in your bio? Did I screw that up? At one point it did. No,
I didn't say that. Ugh. No, I went to law school in Brazil.
Yeah.
And then I took a master's in law in the US. Now I'm in that weird situation where I have to pass the bar, but I haven't passed yet.
Okay.
So I'm not an attorney yet, but I can be in the US and Brazil. So that's the short answer, I guess.
Was I giving you too much credit by saying paralegal?
No, technically, I don't want to talk about paralegals, but it's a different area. Yeah.
See, as you can tell, I'm not very smart and I don't understand this world at all. But it is very impressive. And I think a lot of people didn't know that about you, that you do have a master's from USC, that you do work in this field. Like on the weekends, you're doing that, but you could be suing me on a Monday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I might as well after this show. Who knows?
Wow. Because I mischaracterized.
Might be Thursday.
Yes, I mischaracterized your life. I apologize.
I never actually sued anybody.
Okay. Not even that.
Myself.
And what kind of law, by the way?
Everybody asks me this question. It's so funny. When I was in Brazil, I worked for many law firms. And just like here in the US, the law firms have all different areas. So we separated to like civil law and then criminal law, pretty much, right? So civil law firms, that's where I worked the most. So I did a lot of like family law, employment law, tax law, and then I worked for companies. I also work in the public sector. So like state courts, local courts, did a little bit of everything. And then here in the US, completely different animal. So my master's is in US law, but my major is in entertainment law because I figured that, hey, by working with sports and entertainment, why not, right? And also I live in LA where
Sure.
It's all the entertainment industry is pretty much here, right? So, but I haven't started yet.
Okay. And by the way, I'm looking for a good entertainment lawyer. So if you do get that, past that bar, perhaps.
Yeah.
I don't know what your rate is.
Everyone, hire me, everyone.
Yes. And by the way, worth
actually
noting.
like criminal law, by the way. Like criminal law a lot.
Okay. That is a crazy world. I saw you tweeting about the what is it? The Murdoch? Murdoch. Yes. Trial. You're into that.
Yep. Yeah, it's a real sickness almost. I love watching documentaries, true crime documentaries. I love that. Love following the trials and everything. Funny enough, I never worked with criminal law, but I do have this feeling that I should be working with criminal law. Everybody tries to get me out of it, like say, hey, this is dangerous, you should not, blah, blah, blah. But I still feel drawn to it. I don't know why.
What I was going to say and give you credit for, English isn't your first language. So to get a master's in the United States in that world, in that subject, in that field is pretty damn impressive. So much respect. Salute to you.
Thank you. Yeah. Learned by myself by watching TV.
Really?
Who would have thought that watching so much TV? Yeah.
What shows?
I don't come from money. My family, they couldn't afford, English teachers, anything like that. So that's pretty much how I learned.
Any particular shows like really taught you that you're
Friends, Seinfeld,
oh my
The Office, you name it. Yeah, all the good ones.
Wow. So you would just watch those without really understanding, and then over time you understood more and more.
Yeah, so I would initially, this started when I was a teenager, right? So there was this channel in Brazil that they would show video clips, music clips, and they would add these subtitles in Portuguese. And then I just like my brain started making the connection, to the sound, to the word, to the meaning. And then I just, that's kind of how it worked for me. It's hard to explain. I guess I was meant to live in the US and speak English. Who knows?
I love it. Much respect. Now, as I mentioned, correct me if I'm wrong, you have never actually translated for anyone, especially live interview. Yes?
No. And by the way, if anyone, the internet trolls out there, they think it's not a good job, you can feel free to blame Ariel because it was his idea.
This is all my fault.
Never done it. Don't know what to expect, but let's see.
And by the way, we've had some pretty bad translators in the past, so I have a feeling you're going to do much better than most of them. But
okay,
I did not want to throw you into the deep end without any practice. So I wanted to play you a couple clips now and see how you do, how you feel. I think that's good. It's like riding a bike. You don't just jump onto the bike. You go a little slow. So I want to play you actually a clip of Charles Oliveira speaking to my good friend Daniel Cormier, but he's speaking in Portuguese. He doesn't speak English. And we'll play the clip, and then you'll tell us what he said. This is a bit of a practice run for him coming up. How do you feel about that?
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, here's Charles Oliveira speaking recently to Daniel Cormier.
O olho no olho você vai acontecer, isso é normal. Eu vou sempre olhar, eu quero mostrar que eu tô ali, que eu tô vivo, sabe? Mas com certeza o jeito que eles tentaram vender a luta, lógico que a gente aprendeu que todos querem vender a luta para poder ganhar dinheiro, mas o jeito que eles venderam a luta, eles venderam de uma forma muitas vezes desrespeitada. Tanto do Isla quanto do Khabib e a conta de técnico, mas todo mundo tem que entender que na hora do infight só vai ter um lá dentro. Todos os outros não vão estar. Então, com certeza, rolou muito desrespeito da minha pessoa, mas, cara, não tô nem aí porque esses caras falam, deixa eu te falar.
Okay, how do you feel about that?
Okay, so basically he said, yeah, it's going to happen, but the way that they promoted the fight, he felt that it was very disrespectful. And, in the end of the day, you're going to get in the cage and what's going to happen, like somebody's going to win. But the way the whole promotion deal with it, that's what I got from it, right? The way the promotion dealt with it, he felt it was disrespectful. He didn't mention any names though, so I was just...
That was a great job. I was worried it was too long. Was it?
That was a lot. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to forget about it.
Yeah. Maybe you could write like keywords on a piece of paper.
I'm sure I did forget something, but I have the best intentions, right? If I skip something, I'll try to get the whole idea.
And maybe you could write like a keyword or two if you have a notepad in front of you so you don't forget. Maybe a tip. I don't know. I don't want to make...
Actually, I was going to say before I went live, I was like, does it look like I'm in a basement or something? Because I close all the windows. This is my study area. You can't see anything except for,
No, it's good. It's very professional.
Yeah, I do have a bunch of books here in front of me. And so. I'll do that.
He speaks very quickly, right?
He does.
Yeah.
He does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're very professional. We're in a basement as well, so it's very very much on the same page.
Yeah, kind of fancy basement in New York, if you right.
Same thing, New York, LA. Now I have another clip for you. Now this is a very unique one. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Darren Till. Yes, you know Darren Till?
Oh, that one is, yeah, I know, but it's hard. I hope I don't have to translate the English.
Oh no, it's his Portuguese. You know he speaks Portuguese.
I know. I'm just kidding.
All right, so here's Darren Till speaking in Portuguese. Let us know what he says.
De ano de sem lutar? É difícil, né? Eu tive dois lesões e esse campo também eu tive lesões durante o campo, mas é difícil falar, mas o corpo e o mente tem que estar os dois no mesmo caminho, sabe? Tipo, como é que eu vou explicar melhor? Tipo, os dois têm que entender os dois, o mente e o corpo. E meu corpo, às vezes, é um pouco mais em frente do meu mente. Da minha mente, meu mente, não sei falar direito, mas é um ano sem lutar, sem dinheiro, esperando meus lesões recuperar deles. Foi difícil para o mente, mas eu tenho uma mente forte. Então.
Wow. Okay. Look at you writing away.
All right. So he said basically he spent 1 year without fighting, with injuries. And it was really hard for him to say because the body and the mind need to be aligned. And his body at times was, in front of his mind, but he had to keep his mind strong because he didn't have any money for this whole year without fighting. So he had to be mentally strong. That's what I got.
Wow. This is incredible. I feel like you found a new line of work here.
Maybe people hire me,
Could you imagine?
I feel I have what it takes.
Yes, I think you do. Imagine you're the octagon girl.
After all the translators, jobs now.
And then you go into the cage for the post-fight interviews as well. You get double the pay.
I do both. I do everything. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm all for it.
Okay, well.
Make me interview people too. Let's do it. You know what, Ariel? Maybe you should hire me.
I feel like we're coming up with a lot of jobs here for you. This is very exciting.
Right.
And I think you're going to do great. So hopefully this perhaps, I don't know, maybe calmed your nerves a little bit going into the big interview with Charles. I haven't gotten an opportunity to speak to Charles in almost 2 years. So this is a big one. So don't feel any pressure, okay?
Okay.
But you're used to the pressure. You're used to the limelight because of your job. Long-time UFC octagon. How long has it been? 9 years, 8 years?
Almost 9 years.
Wow.
Long time. Yeah.
You've seen a lot. You've been to a lot of places. You've been all over the world. And you've been in some funny spots as well. I wanted to actually ask you about a couple of spots that we found in the archives and ask you what you were thinking in these moments. We have one from a weigh-in in Moscow. Here's the first one. Tell us what you're thinking here. Okay.
Oh, I remember that.
So here's a young man who seems to be wiping his feet in front of you and the lovely Carly Baker. And then we see your face over there like, whoa, bro, what's going on? What did you think when, and we zoomed in on you right over there. Like, oh, geez, what were you thinking when he did this?
It's funny because my expressions, I can't fake. If I like someone, you can see it, right? If I don't like it, you can see it. And I'm very spontaneous. So whenever there's a fighter, I'm always wondering, because the camera is right on me. So I'm always wondering, like, what is he going to do that, am I going to be hit some way somehow? So I don't think I thought something specific. I was just like trying not to get it on camera.
I thought it was a little disrespectful that he's wiping his feet in front of you like that. It looked like almost like a dog who like kicks the dirt back.
I don't know. Maybe it was some sort of ritual, like to bring him luck. I don't know. I was not expecting, but this happens all the time. Like, who was it? Was it Johnny Walker? Maybe that he, did a backflip or something. There's always something going on. There was one time it was this one actually went viral. It was Khabib, I think. He was doing an interview.
Wait a second. I don't mean to interrupt you. We have the clip, Luciana.
Of course you do.
Yes, of course. Let's play this Khabib clip that she was. And we also have the Michelle Pereira one too. We came prepared. Here's the Khabib clip that she's talking about.
Yeah.
So here he is talking, and you're just like shaking your head. You're confused as to what he's saying. I don't know. I think he was speaking in Russian at this point, no?
He was.
And then his dad, the late great Abdulmanap, walked in front of you.
Yeah, obviously I don't speak Russian, right? So what happened was I see somebody from the weigh-in stage, where at a stage there's a lot of people in front of you, photographers, all sorts of people. And then I see somebody doing this, and I'm thinking like, is he doing that to me? Like, should I move? And I'm like, no, I can't move. Like, what are you talking about? Like, who are you? Right?
Oh, no.
But I think he was actually talking with I believe it was Khabib's dad, for him to like come closer, so maybe they could take pictures of both of them. But then obviously on the clip, it feels like I'm making those faces for whatever Khabib's saying, but obviously I don't speak Russian, so no, it wasn't the case. But I did get a lot of hate because of that.
Really? People are crazy.
But yeah, people are crazy. People are saying like, oh, you don't respect Khabib, the eagle, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't even know what he was talking about. Like, I don't speak Russian. It wasn't for him at all. Like, no disrespect. It was really someone in the crowd that it took me a while to recognize, because we have so much light on us.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a while to realize, oh, that person is not from the staff. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh, should I not be here?
But the thing that I do respect about you is you aren't afraid to speak your mind at times. I remember there was a situation last year where people were talking about, the Octagon girls are making more than the fighters. You clap back. Right?
I mean, this is the tale as old as time, far away from the truth. Because it's so easy. Think about it. Like, it's internet, right? Like, you can finish the show here and go and write an article saying that I make $2 million per hour, and people are going to believe it. It's not true. We don't make more money than the fighters. Think about it. Like, we have 14 girls across the globe, right? And some girls work a few times a year because we don't have international fights, with the same frequency that we have in the US. But let's talk about the US girls, right? We're in 6 total. We rotate. So you work twice a month if you're lucky. Let's use common sense. Do you really think we would be making more money than the fighters, than the commentators, and the broadcasters? To walk around a few rounds? Obviously not. And I'm not complaining about my pay either. No one put a gun in my head and said, hey, sign this contract, be a ring girl. No, I did it for my own reasons. For me, mostly it was the traveling, like I said, I don't come from money. I really, when I say I don't come from money, I really don't, like from the ages 16 to 19, I remember having like 2 pairs of jeans. So obviously traveling was never a reality. And luckily I was able to go to college. My dad didn't have a degree. My mom was only able to get a degree after we were already in college. So it wasn't like, I didn't have food in the house, but I didn't grow up with luxury. So the fact that I was able to travel to get to know different cultures, and that was my reasoning, right? But yeah, it's just crazy to me, like that people still think that that's true. And we get so much hate whenever a fighter says something like that, because and again, like, I'm not saying, oh my God, I'm such a victim, because I can still choose to like not be a ring girl or whatever, but it's kind of irresponsible sometimes when you do know it's not true, but you do use us as a scapegoat to create hype or clicks or whatever that is. And I'm not saying, hey, I have the most respect for fighters. I feel like, what they do, the commitment they have. I don't have that level of discipline, but I think it's amazing. It's so entertaining for us to watch, but I know it's a sacrifice. It comes with a sacrifice for them. So, but it was never a competition. We never said that we were more important than fighters, that we were carrying the company in our backs, nothing like that. But people always use us with all the people that you could use, you use us to like complain about fighter pay, and this happens a lot. And then every time it happens, it's usually someone that has like this huge platform and a voice that we don't have. How do you fight it? And then you get so much hate, and it's for everything. Like, remember, I think like last year, some fighter that is already retired came out with a book, right? He wrote a biography from back when he was a fighter, that at some point he had an orgy, blah, 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 and mentioned that there was a ring girl or ring girls. I don't even know.
Oh, yeah.
It was a girl, because I didn't read it. And people read that or became aware of that book and started like commenting that we that's what we do, that we date fighters. I never dated a fighter. I never did. So it's just what people do. It's internet, right? Like, you can be hating on people and commenting terrible things from the comfort of your home, and there's zero to zero accountability, right? Your loved ones, your neighbors, your employers don't know that you're doing this, but it happens, so yeah, that was my view at the time. Like, no, we don't make that money. I would love to, but we don't, so it's
respect. I respect you for speaking up and defending the honor of the Octagon Girls. We have the Michel Pereira clip. This is the one that you were referencing when he almost freaking did a backflip off the stage. Do we have that clip? All right. We're going to get it for you. This is a crazy one because here he is, Michel Pereira. There you are in the back. And now he just keeps.
I was like, oh no.
Oh my gosh. Almost nailed right into you guys. Look at that one. Almost kicked you in the head.
He's pretty good.
Not bad.
I'll give him all the credit. I couldn't do it.
Well, I give you all the credit. You are great. And we have Charles Oliveira here joining us from Brazil. So are you ready? How do you feel?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm here for it. I have my notepad. If I skip some words, I'll just make up.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you for doing this very much. Let's bring in Mr. Charles Oliveira, Du Bronx himself, the former lightweight champion. Charles, bom dia, my friend. How are you?
Muito bem.
Muito bem. We have Luciana here.
Perfeito, sou bem 100%.
Luciana, you want to tell him that you're here as well? I don't even think he knows that you're doing this to translate.
Oi, Charles, tudo bem? Que é a Luciana, Octagon Girl do UFC. Eu vou traduzir para você e para o Ariel hoje. Tudo bem?
Obrigado, Luciana. Como você tá? Tá bem?
Tudo bem, tudo certo.
Okay.
Vamos começar?
Vambora.
All right.
Okay, let's start it.
Let's start it. All right. Thank you. This is very professional. I love this. Charles, thank you very much for the time. So I'm wondering, we just found out that you're going to fight Beneil Dariush on May 6th. Has the UFC said to you that if you win this fight, you will fight for the belt? Is this a number one contender fight? Because most people think it's a number one contender fight for him. Is it a number one contender fight for you?
Oi, Charles, tudo bem? A gente acabou de descobrir que você vai lutar com o Dariush no dia 6 de maio. Eles estão falando que seria o número 1 contender para ele. Você também vê dessa forma?
Olha, vai ser uma grande luta, né? Também é um cara que merece todo o respeito do mundo, é um cara que vem na sequência gigantesca de vitória, né? Vai ser uma grande luta.
It will be a great fight. It's a guy that deserves the biggest respect in the world, and it's going to be a fantastic fight.
If he wins that fight on May 6th, does he expect to fight for the belt afterwards?
Se você vencer essa luta no dia 6, você espera lutar pelo cinturão na próxima luta?
É isso que vai acontecer, com certeza. Se Deus abençoar e for no momento certo e eu conseguir vencer o bem, com certeza no final do ano eu sou o próximo desafiante, eu mereço isso.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen if everything goes well and I get the victory. By the end of the year, I'll be the next contender.
We just saw Islam Makhachev beat Alexander Volkanovski in Australia last month. Did you see that fight? And if so, who do you think won?
Você assistiu a luta do Islam Makhachev? Se você viu, quem que você acha que realmente venceu?
Olha, eu estava sentado na primeira fila, né? Foi uma grande luta, né? Eu acho que merecia mesmo, né, ter ganhado o Islam pelo fato de o Islam ser campeão. E o cara que tá indo ali para poder desafiar o título, ele tem que fazer algo a mais. O Islam foi um pouco mais contundente, conseguiu fazer aquilo que ele faz bem, de poder agarrar e sair com a vitória.
Yeah, I watched it. I was in the front line of the fight. I feel like Islam deserved it. You know, he needs to do something else to win the fight, to get the belt. And I feel like he's done that. He does a great job with the grappling and everything. So I think he deserved it.
Were you surprised, Charles, that Alex had as much success as he did against Islam, especially on the ground?
Você ficou surpreso que o Islam teve tanto sucesso, especialmente no chão?
Não, acho que não tem nem como falar o Islam. O Islam é um cara que vem fazendo muito bem o trabalho dele na parte de chão e com certeza vem evoluindo muito na parte em pé. A gente está falando, né, de grandes nomes, tanto da categoria de baixo como da categoria de cima. Então, com certeza, seria uma grande luta como foi.
No, you can even say that. I mean, he's been his evolution is just visible, even like it standing, like the work that he's been doing. I wasn't surprised at all.
Okay. And would you think, as someone who's at the top of the 55-pound division, do you think it would be fair if he got an immediate rematch? Would you be okay with that?
Você acha que alguém que está no topo da divisão de 55 pounds, se essa pessoa ela conseguir uma chance, você acha que isso é justo?
Eu acho que, na realidade, a gente está falando sobre o UFC pensa muito, né? Mas com certeza não tem outro nome a ser falado. Vencendo o Beneil Dariush, sou o próximo cara desafiante ao título, não tenho o que falar. Sou o cara, mereço isso, eu vi nas coisas de vitória, fui lutar na casa do meu adversário, né? Então eu sou o próximo da fila. Vencer essa luta agora, dia 6 de maio, com certeza sou o próximo.
I think UFC knows what's doing, and I'll be the next contender. I think like that's what's right to do.
Okay. Charles, when I announced that you'd be on the show, it's been a while since we spoke. The reaction was very positive. People love you. You don't need me to tell you this. You are very, very popular. Could I ask, what is life like for you back home in Brazil? Because I understand you're a massive celebrity now. You're on all these crazy shows. Everyone loves you. You're a mainstream star. How are you dealing with all of that?
Charles, quando eu anunciei que você estaria no programa, todo mundo ficou muito animado, todo mundo gosta de você. Como que está sendo aí em casa, aí no Brasil, essa popularidade?
Eu só tenho gratidão a Deus, gratidão aos meus fãs. Todos os lugares que a gente estamos indo, a gente estamos sendo muito bem tratados, pessoas, lotando os lugares para poder estar perto da gente. Isso é muito importante, eu sonhei com isso, então eu estou muito feliz.
I just I'm very grateful to God and to my fans. Everywhere we go, people treat us very well. That there's always a crowd following us. So I'm very grateful for everything.
Is it ever overwhelming? Do you ever feel like you can't breathe, that there are too many people following you and looking at you?
Você se sente, de certa forma, um pouco que é demais? Se sente sufocado? Tem muita gente ao seu redor te seguindo ou não?
Não, eu sonhei com isso, eu estou muito feliz, eu quero que aconteça mais e mais. Esse foi meu sonho um dia, então hoje ele está se tornando real, eu tenho que ser grato. Eu estou muito feliz, eu quero que aconteça mais e mais.
No, I dreamed about this, and I'm forever grateful. I want this to be bigger and bigger, and I want more and more fans. That's all I've wanted, all I've cared about. It's been my dream all this time. So yeah, I'm just grateful for it.
I was just going to ask you about dreams. Like, have you exceeded your own dreams at this point? Are you now even more popular than you could have ever imagined?
Eu ia te perguntar sobre os seus sonhos. Você acha que você já até ultrapassou os seus sonhos, que você chegou a um lugar que você jamais imaginaria chegar? Como que tá? Ou você ainda tem muito mais a conquistar?
Não, tenho muito mais coisas a conquistar, mas daquilo que eu já sonhei na minha vida, Deus já me proporcionou, né? Então a gente tem que ser sonhador e tá sonhando mais e mais e mais, em deixar um legado, em continuar fazendo história, né? Mas daquilo que eu sonhei na minha vida, acho que eu já até ultrapassei.
I still have much more to accomplish, but from what I expected, I've reached so much. I'm so grateful, and that's everything I've ever wanted.
Now, what about your clothes, Charles? I mean, your clothes lately have been incredible. Where does this sense of fashion and style come from? It's like one better suit after the next that you're rocking. The chains, the glasses, everything. Where's this coming from, Charles? Who's the inspiration?
Esse estilo todo aí, cada vez que você aparece, tem uma roupa mais legal do que a outra, um terno mais bem feito, tem colar, tem óculos, como é que, de onde está vindo tudo isso?
Eu acho que, na realidade, a gente não pode ser só mais um, né? A gente tem que ser diferenciado, a gente tem que estar no time legal, né? Então, por isso uma roupa legal, por isso um óculos legal, uma corrente legal, poder viver, né? Sonhei com isso, em ter a oportunidade de poder comprar, né? E todo mundo sabe que antigamente eu não tinha condição e hoje, graças a Deus, Deus me propôs para ter a condição, então eu quero tentar andar mais bonito, tentar me vestir melhor. Acho que isso é o time da coisa.
You have to stand out. I've always dreamed about this. Now I can finally afford to purchase, nice things. But yeah, I wanna, be different and be noticed. And thank God I'm able to afford this lifestyle and dress nicely as I've always wanted.
And by the way, Luciana, you're doing an incredible job. Keep it up. Well done. Also, want to ask you about your back tattoo. Everyone's going crazy over this back tattoo. What is the inspiration? We have a photo of it that we're going to show. You got this crazy, I think it's a lion in your back. What is going on over there? What did you do over there?
Ok, ele está perguntando da sua tatuagem das costas, que todo mundo fala. O que é? Qual foi a inspiração? Acho que ele está mostrando uma foto agora na tela, mas ele quer saber, assim, o que exatamente é e de onde veio essa ideia.
Venho sempre falando de legado, né? De você ser um leão e leão andar com leão, né? E aí não tinha por que não fazer. Eu peguei, fiz um leão nas costas, fechei minhas costas inteiras com leão. Fiz lá no William, meu parceiro, meu irmão. E ficou uma tatuagem muito perfeita, porque vem falando daquilo que eu venho falando o tempo inteiro, né? Leões têm que andar com leões, desse legado gigantesco. Então a tatuagem ficou muito top.
I've been always talking about to be a lion and to walk with lions, and that was my inspiration. I've always talked about like leaving a legacy. So yeah, to be a lion, to walk with lions, that's where it came from.
How long did that take? How many hours?
Quanto tempo levou? Quantas horas para fazer essa tatuagem?
Horas.
Oi?
13 horas.
13 horas, 13 hours.
Jeez, in one shot or multiple visits?
De uma só vez, você teve que ir várias vezes para finalizar?
2 dias.
2 days.
Oh gosh, that is crazy. I can never do something like that. Did it kill? Did it hurt?
Ele falou que ele nunca conseguiria fazer isso, que isso é loucura. Doeu muito?
Muito, é muita loucura. São coisas que depois que você começa não tem como mais parar, mas nunca senti tanta dor na vida.
He said he heard a lot that once you start, you can stop it anymore, but he never felt so much pain live.
Wow. Okay. And if he says that, I can't imagine how much it hurt. Now, I see a lot of people, Charles, online. They've been talking about your OnlyFans account. People are very excited about you being on OnlyFans. We're used to, let's be honest, women on OnlyFans, but you're killing it, it seems, on OnlyFans. Has it been going well for you? Is this a lucrative venture for you? And what could people find on your OnlyFans?
Ok, ele diz que muita gente está conversando sobre o fato de que você tem um OnlyFans agora. Isso tem sido lucrativo para você e o que as pessoas podem encontrar no seu OnlyFans?
Na realidade, a gente começou agora com a propulsão, trazendo o OnlyFans, né, trazendo algo diferente, fazer com que eu fique mais próximo dos meus fãs, fazer com que os meus fãs fiquem mais próximos de mim. Acho que essa é a intenção, né? Aquilo que a gente posta no Instagram é uma coisa, e aí, para dentro do OnlyFans, a gente tem, né, o meu dia a dia, o que eu faço com a minha família, com meus amigos, aquilo que a gente gosta de fazer. Então, quem me segue no OnlyFans, com certeza está muito mais próximo de mim, né, do que quem me segue no Instagram.
Okay, so we started recently, and I think the whole concept is to be closer to my fans. We posted on Instagram and things like that, but you don't get to see my day-to-day life. So the whole purpose of this is to be in touch with the fans and show a little bit more of myself and what's happening behind the scenes.
I love it. Are you killing it on there? Are you raking in the dough? How's it going so far? I'd imagine, considering your fan base, you're killing it.
Considerando sua base de fãs, tá indo muito bem, né, o seu OnlyFans. Ele só tá imaginando que tá sendo um sucesso.
Não, a gente começou agora com o OnlyFans, estou feliz com tudo que vem acontecendo. Lógico, as pessoas estão tentando entender por que eu tô lancei o OnlyFans, mas a gente está trabalhando, tá vendo, as pessoas estão começando a seguir, estão fazendo acontecer. A gente está feliz.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy with it. We just started, people are still trying to understand what can you get from it, like why am I on OnlyFans? But we're really happy with the results, and the fans are liking it.
Okay, I'm gonna sign up myself. What about this video that came out of a young kid dancing that a lot of people think is you? I think you've seen the video because you commented on it. We have the video here. He can see it, right, guys? This video of the young kid. Is this in fact you? Can you confirm or deny? All right, it's going to process here in a moment. A young kid. Here's the video. I don't know if you want to tell them. There's a video of a kid that people think is him dancing as a kid.
Ok, esse vídeo de uma criança, eu acho que eles vão mostrar agora, eles estão tentando puxar, não sei se você tem acesso, mas tem um vídeo de uma criança dançando que todo mundo pensa que é você. Então ele está perguntando se é você mesmo ou quem é essa criança. Eu acho que você comentou no vídeo, inclusive.
Não, nem sei quem é. Muitas pessoas mandaram para mim esse vídeo perguntando se era eu mais novo. Eu falei que não. Não sou eu, não.
He said he doesn't know who it is. A lot of people sent it to him and asked if it was him when he was younger. He doesn't know who it is, but yeah, no.
He goes for the kiss, the kid. Did you see that in the video? If we could play that again, the young kid who looks like you goes for the kiss. And so I think a lot of people are giving you credit here that you have that kind of dog in you. You see it right here, boom, goes for the kiss. The young kid, he's like 8 years old.
Ele falou que é uma criança que deve ter uns 8 anos, parece muito com você, acho que tem até um cachorro parecido com o que você tem. Você reconhece essa semelhança?
Ele parece um pouco comigo, mas não sou eu não. Isso aí foi lançado esse vídeo e muitas pessoas me marcaram e aí as pessoas falam que era eu mais novo.
Yeah, he said it looks a little bit like him, but it's definitely not him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm glad we cleared that up. One last crazy question for you. I saw you on like some horse thing. This sport. What is this sport that you're doing where you're sitting behind a horse? It's like polo or something. I think we have a photo that we can show you here. I just wanted to know what this thing, this right over here. What is this that you're doing over here behind the horse? What's going on over there?
Ele está perguntando o que é. Não sei se você tem acesso, eu não consigo ver. Você num cavalo, atrás de um cavalo, você estava jogando polo? O que é?
Isso aí é as corridas de cavalo que eu gosto de fazer, os American Trot, aí em Piracaia. A gente acabou de fazer uma gravação lá, muito top. Né? A galera que tem acesso ao meu OnlyFans, com certeza viram os vídeos da corrida, né? Tudo que foi feito lá no dia a dia. Né? Isso aí, pô, sou apaixonado, tenho tatuado no braço esquerdo vários cavalos. Isso aí é uma corrida que acontece, né? Tem várias etapas no ano, e aí eu tive a oportunidade de estar lá, né, nesse último final de semana.
This is the horse ride that I was involved. They do it like several times in a year, and I had the opportunity to be there. The people that follow me on OnlyFans was able to see a little bit of what was going on, and I love horses. I have a bunch of tattoos in my arm, and it was a really cool thing to do.
I love it. A man of many interests. I'm still annoyed, Charles, that they took your title away back in May. I know it all kind of changed afterwards. Are you still annoyed about this? Are you still a little bit annoyed that you were robbed of that back in Arizona in May?
Charles, eu estou um pouco incomodado ainda que eles retiraram o cinturão de você no passado. Você também se sente ainda incomodado? Como que tá? Qual que é o sentimento hoje?
Sendo bem sincero, acho que as coisas passam, a gente deixa passar, mas eu acho que a gente tem que usar, né, como aprendizado para que não aconteça com os outros lutadores, porque o cinturão não é só o cinturão, é tudo aquilo que você fez durante anos. Eu demorei 12 anos para se tornar campeão. Então, sangrei, suei, me dediquei, fiquei longe da minha família, né, em busca desse sonho gigantesco de se tornar campeão. E eles tiraram o cinturão de mim, não pelo erro meu, mas sim pelo erro deles. Eu tenho certeza, eu bati meu peso, eu bati abaixo muitas vezes, né? E, pô, é uma puta de uma sacanagem que eles fizeram comigo, tiraram meu cinturão. Mas mesmo assim eu fui lá e mostrei porque eu vim, eu mostrei porque realmente o campeão tem nome, chama Ciryl Oliveira, fui lá e venci o Gate, fazendo aquilo que você fazia de melhor.
Yeah, I feel like we need to use this as an example to not happen to other people because it wasn't my fault, it was their fault. I bit the weight. And, you know, it's not just the belt that they took it away from me. It took me 12 years to become a champion. There was a lot of sweat and tears. You know, I spent time away from my family. So it wasn't just that they took it away. So, you know, of course, you know, it bothered, but we have to use this as an example so it doesn't happen again to other fighters.
And you see sometimes they do weigh-ins and they quickly like don't even look at the number. And for you, it felt like they were really trying to zero in on it. Felt a little unfair, in my opinion. Do you agree?
Você vê que às vezes nas pesagens eles nem olham o número que está batendo ali na balança e pedem para a pessoa sair, mas parecia que no seu eles ficaram olhando ali bastante tempo. Como que você sentiu? Você vê isso? Você notou isso?
Sendo bem sincero, isso é uma coisa que eu nem gosto de ficar falando muito, mas nós vamos falar. Eles fizeram uma festa pro cara da cidade ganhar, né? Só que aí a cereja do bolo não estava certa, né? Então, simplesmente o campeão se chama Ciryl Oliveira, eles tentaram de todas as formas fazer com que minha cabeça, tipo, ficasse nervoso, alguma coisa do tipo, mas não, eles só me deixaram mais curioso, só me deixaram mais sede de vitória para poder chegar lá e fazer acontecer e vencer.
To be honest, this is not even a subject I like to talk about. It seems like they made everything so that the guy from the city would win, but in everything to mess with my psychological, but all it did was to make me angrier, and I went there and I proved it that Ciryl Oliveira is the only champion, and the champion has only one name, and it's Charles.
Okay. By the way, not being able to fight in Brazil in January, was that a disappointment for you? I know it was like just a few months after the Islam fight. Was it hard for you to be there and not fight in front of your people for the first time in so long?
Foi difícil para você não poder lutar no UFC do Rio, lutar na frente do seu povo? Foi difícil para você sentar lá, assistir e saber que você não poderia lutar?
Eu tive a oportunidade de lutar, né? Fui convidado para lutar, mas aí eu pensei muito bem. A gente não adianta querer pensar na loucura, querer fazer algo que a gente não precisa fazer. E aí a gente decidiu esperar um pouco mais, poder descansar, poder estar um pouco perto da minha família, respirar um pouco para a gente poder voltar e treinar 100%, para quando marcasse a nossa luta a gente estava com muita sede de vitória. É isso que aconteceu.
I had the opportunity to fight. They invited me to, but we made a wise decision of not to. Like I'd rather rest and do a full camp and train and have a whole strategy than just like fighting for the sake of fighting. But I had the opportunity to. I just decided not to.
Okay. And when you look back at the Islam fight, what do you wish you would have done differently? If you could do it again, what do you wish you would have done or could do differently?
Quando você olha para a luta com o Islã, o que você gostaria de ter feito diferente?
Nada, eu nem olho aquela luta. Eu nem olhei aquela luta. Todas as minhas lutas que eu perdi, eu já olhei. Essa luta foi a única luta que eu nem olhei e nem vou olhar. Ele lutou melhor do que eu, venceu. A próxima vez que a gente se encontrar, não vou mudar em nada. Vou continuar sendo o mesmo Charles andando pra frente, não mudarei em nada.
Nothing. That's it. From all the fights, I always watch my fights. That's the only one I haven't watched. He was the better fighter. I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to go there and be the same Charles I've always been. But I'm not going to watch the fight. I know he was better than me that day.
Oh wow! So you will never go back and watch that fight?
Então você nunca vai voltar e assistir aquela luta?
No. Wow. All his fights he doesn't go back and watch, or just that one in particular?
Just that one in particular. He
Wow.
said he watches his other fights. That one he didn't.
Wow. Okay. That is fascinating. And on May 6th, how do you expect it to play out against Beneil, who's looked great? In your mind, how do you see this fight playing out?
No dia 6, como que você imagina essa luta acontecendo?
O Ben é um cara que merece todo o respeito do mundo, mas eu nunca tive com tanta sede, sabe? Tô com muita sede de vitória, eu quero vencer, eu quero mostrar ao meu público, eu quero se tornar campeão de novo, né? E a gente tem que subir um degrau de cada vez. E aí, com certeza, vencendo bem, eu sou o próximo desafiante.
My opponent is a great guy. He deserves all the respect, but I have this thirst for victory, and I'm going to do everything I can to win that fight, and then hopefully fight for the belt in the end of the year.
Last question for you. There's a lot of people who think Conor McGregor beats Michael Chandler, he'll get a title shot at 155. How would you feel about that?
Ok, última pergunta. Tem muita gente que acha que se o McGregor vencer o Michael Chandler, ele pode ganhar a chance de disputar o cinturão. Como você se sente em relação a isso?
Olha, eu acho que ele não vai vencer, né? Mas também pode acontecer. Ele é um cara que vende muito, ele é um cara que você gosta, ele é um cara polêmico, é um cara que fala demais, né? Tem uma força gigantesca. Tudo pode acontecer. Mas eu acho que ele não passa pelo Chandler.
Look, I don't think he's gonna win. I mean, he's a guy that sells and he's great to promote. People love to watch his fights, but I don't think he's gonna win.
So he doesn't have to worry about that, basically.
Yeah.
So he thinks Michael Chandler is going to beat Conor McGregor.
Então você acha que o Michael Chandler vai vencer o McGregor?
Acho que sim. Acho que o Chandler é muito explosivo, tá vindo numa sequência de lutas, né? O Conor estava um tempo parado, né? O Michael Chandler é um cara que pega também de mão, é um cara que tem um wrestling muito duro, é um cara muito explosivo. Então eu aposto no Chandler.
Yeah, I believe Chandler is an explosive fighter. McGregor hasn't fought in a long time, so I believe Chandler is going to win.
Charles, thank you. Luciana, stay there when we say goodbye. But Charles, thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming on. Obrigado. Parabéns on all your success. That's the only Portuguese. Açaí, I know açaí as well. Bom dia. That's pretty much it. I appreciate it. And good luck to you as you prepare for May 6th.
Charles, muito obrigado pela presença. Boa sorte na preparação para a próxima luta. Obrigado por vir.
Obrigado, Ariel. Sempre um prazer estar falando com você. Obrigado por todo o carinho e vamos para cima.
Thank you so much, Harry. It was always a pleasure to speak to you, and let's do it. Let's go.
Okay, let's do it. There he is, Charles do Bronx Oliveira, the former UFC lightweight champion. And now we have Luciana back. He is gone.
Yeah.
Luciana, I'm going to give you a standing ovation. You killed it. I mean, I have to bend over because my microphone, my headphone thingy is all messed up. But that was incredible. That was amazing. How do you feel?
What? I have a lot of respect for the translators because it's hard. Like if you were able to translate simultaneously, that's, I guess, much easier. The fact that you have to memorize and then some words translated literally, so you have to get the whole idea and say, okay, that's what he said, and pick the best parts. But yeah, I think
I thought you did amazing. You even were throwing in things like, I didn't say Michael Chandler. You put Chandler in the question to just color it up. I mean, I thought you were poised, you were confident, you were calm, collected. I mean, I was really impressed. Honestly, not sure if I thought it was going to go this well. I was thinking, well, I was thinking anytime we have a Brazilian fighter, now we just have you on.
Look at that.
Amazing. Now, what's your Venmo?
Great.
I have to send you a payment for this, so let me know your Venmo afterwards.
Yeah, sure.
On the back end. But did you enjoy it? Was it fun?
Yeah, it was fun. It was really fun, and never done it. That's the beauty of this thing. People just think like, oh, you're just a ring girl, brand ambassador. I'm like, no, I get to do so many things. I've tried to interview people in the past.
How'd that go?
Now it was fun. It was fun. I got a little nervous. It was I'm not gonna bring the brand's name here, but it was a cool project. We had it for a couple months, like this betting thing. I would do a recap from the previous fights, talk about like what are the pros and cons, who's the underdog of this fight, who I think is going to win, and like things like that. It was very raw in terms of production, but it was a fun thing.
I love it.
So kind of missed it. It was cool.
So for you, everything that we just talked about, and maybe translators in the mix, what is the dream for you? What is the dream job? Obviously, you have a great thing with the UFC now. You're enjoying it, but ultimately, that can't last forever, I would imagine, unless you want it to last forever.
Sadly, no. Yeah, I can't be a ring car girl forever. Unfortunately, it's been a fun ride, but yeah. I don't know. I would love to do more things, on camera. Obviously, I'm nowhere near some of our talents, the broadcast people. I'm talking about the women, but like you have the Laura Senkos and the Megan Olivis. They are doing such a phenomenal job. Nowhere, anywhere close to them. I'm like, no. But I would love to do more things, maybe something more on the fun side. We'll see.
Well, you're killing it. And it's a big year coming up for you. I believe you're getting married as well. So Mazel Tov, congratulations. Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
I haven't gotten the save the date yet in the mail. I don't know if it's coming or if I missed the cut. I don't know. But I'm still waiting, and I'm available if you guys need me there.
It's going to be a really small wedding.
Okay, small wedding. I've heard that before. But it sounds like a wonderful time. And I really appreciate you doing this. Honestly, you came out of your comfort zone. You helped us out. I didn't have anyone else to do this. And so it was either me just speaking to him and him answering questions in Portuguese and me not understanding. So you helped us out big time. We owe you one, and tremendous job on your part. Really, it was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Anytime. It was my first time on the show.
Yes.
Really private when it comes to interviews, and I don't usually do that, but that's the answer I give. But actually, no one wants to talk to ring girls.
Well, we're different. We're very cultured.
You saw the comments online. Oh, she's not a fighter.
Screw those people.
Watch it.
We talked to darts champions. Actually, I didn't want to put them on the spot, but word on the street is that fight's happening in New Jersey, which is very close to here. So if it does, and you're working it, please join us in studio.
I'm actually working on May 6th.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I'm working on that one. That would be fun.
So please join us.
Let's do it.
All right. We'll bring in another Brazilian fighter. You can translate. Yes, it would be incredible. Thank you so much. We appreciate it very much. All the best to you. We'll talk to you soon. Bom dia.
Of course. Hey, I didn't show you this.
Oh, wow. The whole time?
She's been in my lap the entire time.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. That's the only way she's not going to have a meltdown.
Oh my God.
The other one is somewhere in the house.
Wow. I did not see her once pop up. Well done.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The little one.
Well, so not only were you translating, you were multitasking as well. Wow. What can't you do?
Of course. I'm a crazy Chihuahua lady. That's all I do.
Amazing. Thank you, Luciana. Talk to you soon. All the best.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
There she is, Luciana Andrade. How about that? Incredible. Translator to the stars. And we've been around some pretty subpar translators in our day.
That's not nice.
No, I'm just saying.
Because you always think, oh, you did a wonderful job, and then now you're like,
well,
subpar.
We have talked to some fighters in the past who speak a foreign language. They come on with a translator. They speak for like 3 minutes, and then you get like a 10-word answer.
I
right?
get what you're saying.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, right.
It's the truth. And then you're like, well, what did you leave on the cutting room floor over there? And so I thought she, I don't know exactly. I'd have to ask Guilherme. But, I thought that she nailed it.
So I was actually, talking with Guilherme on the side just in case.
Yes.
If she missed anything. And he said, nothing. She's killing it. 10 out of 10.
For real?
Yeah. Yeah. He said that she was doing well at the start. And then, like 15 minutes in, he said she's killing it.
Wow. How about that?
Incredibly impressive if that was her first time.
I mean, it was. And that's high marks from the Brazilian Beast. I mean, if you get a 10 on 10 from him, you're doing something right. Well, that was fun. And, nice to let the people know that, they don't just walk around with cards. I was asked a very long time ago, if I would do that, but, I didn't want to make people feel uncomfortable. You know what I mean? The moves,
Wait, what?
Yeah.
If he
asked you to do what?
Be a ring guy.
Huh.
I think it's ring person.
What promotion?
I don't want to talk about it. It's kind of private business. The greatest of all time, Elias Theodorou. He did that. The late, great Elias Theodorou for Invicta. He was a ring boy.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, he did that, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years ago. He was like, well, if there's ring card girls for the guy fights, why can't there be a ring boy for the female fights? And they let him do it multiple times, and he was great. He took it seriously. He didn't mess around. Yeah. Very, 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 very a great guy. Didn't take life seriously. We miss him dearly. But thank you again to Charles Oliveira. That was cool. And thank you to Luciana Andrade. And yes, the word on the street is that May 6th. I said it last week, I think, that they're going to come to New Jersey. And that's the word. And that would be pretty cool for Aljamain Sterling. That's the card headlined by Aljo versus Henry Cejudo. And then you get Charles versus Beneil Dariush. How about Charles saying that Conor has no shot? That was interesting. We had Luke Rockhold say Chandler has no shot, and then we had Charles saying that Conor had no shot. How about that? Let me do a quick ad read here if I can before we get to our final guest of the day, and then we'll get to our picks regarding UFC 285. Does that work for you, Frank?
Yeah, we should follow the script.
Okay. Whoa, so you're saying don't do that. Wow. Wait a second. That was a little passive-aggressive, no?
No.
We should follow the script. What script? I got 4 minutes, 3 minutes. Unless he's right here waiting, I have time.
No, I would tell you that.
Do you think that was passive-aggressive, GC? Wasn't asking you. The guy who said the passive-aggressive comment.
I don't think it was passive-aggressive. I just think it was
aggressive. Okay, fine. Fair enough. Well, I don't know if you guys know this, but UFC 285 is coming up this weekend. Saturday night, Las Vegas, Sin City, Viva Las Vegas, T-Mobile Arena. Get in on all the action for the return of Johnny Bones Jones. Yes, the great one, making his heavyweight debut. How will he look as a heavyweight? How will he fight with the extra weight? Will he be as quick, as dangerous, as lethal, as powerful? Will he have more power? Who knows? Against the great French prince himself, the one and only Ciryl Gane. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the UFC, is your home for all the UFC 285 action. And get this, new customers can bet just $5 on a pre-fight money line and get $150 in bonus bets if your fighter wins. All DraftKings customers can join the excitement with DraftKings same-game parlays. Combine multiple UFC 285 bets, and Lord knows there's a lot of fights that you want to get in on, into one for a shot at an even bigger payout. All you got to do is download the app, use the code THEMMAHOUR. That's the MMA Hour. New customers can bet just $5 on a pre-fight money line and get $150 in bonus bets if your fighter wins. Again, that's code THEMMA Hour only at DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 and older in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369. Bonus issued as bonus bets. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/MMA terms. There you have it. Please support them because they support us. That's UFC 285. A mere 3 days away in Viva Las Vegas. And as of right now, correct me if I'm wrong, GC, Johnny Bones Jones, despite the layoff, despite never fighting at heavyweight, is a minus 155 favorite. Is that accurate as of right this second?
Yeah, that's accurate. I think he's going to keep on becoming bigger. At some books, he's as big as a minus 170.
Wow. And this opened up at...
Oh, Lord, it's been all over the place.
Wow. Opened up at plus 140 for John.
Yeah.
He opened up as the dog? Sheesh.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of people out there that got plus money tickets on Jon Jones.
Did you?
No.
Why not?
Huh?
Don't believe in it?
You have to wait and see.
Did you put any action on this one?
Yep, I do have action on it.
Okay. Is that the correct way of saying it? Did you put any action? Probably not.
You got any action down?
Got any action?
Place a bet.
Place a bet. All right.
Choose a side.
Choose a side. All right. Ciryl Gane opened up as a minus 166. Jones plus 140. I guess on best fight odds, they can predict where it will close-ish. Minus 170 plus 130, if I'm reading this correctly.
No.
No, I'm not. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
It's not a prediction.
No, not a prediction.
I would imagine as the days go on, like you said, this is one of those fight cards where like you've got people that aren't necessarily into the UFC feel like they're probably going to be betting on Jon Jones.
Do you think it's because they think he's truly going to win, or do you think it's because, it's the nostalgia, it's Jon Jones, all that stuff?
Well, I definitely think that they think he's going to win, but that might be because they're not as familiar with Ciryl Gane, and Jon Jones is just the guy that never loses.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see how this plays out. It's one of the more fascinating main events. The best main events. Look, there are fights that you're like, this isn't going to be close, and then it turns out to be an incredible fight. The one that is at the top of that list is Jon Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson, UFC 165. But you could even put a Volkanovski-Makhachev fight in that bucket where it's like, a lot of people weren't giving Volkanovski a chance, and then it turns into a classic, right? A fight of the year contender. This one is different because I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea. That's the beauty. So many questions, so many answers to come, so many different angles that you could take as far as which questions you're going to ask. That's what makes it so fun. Jon Jones, Ciryl Gane, the man who knows Ciryl Gane better than anyone. Fernand Lopez, he joins us, last guest of the day. Let's go to Las Vegas and say hello to Fernand. Hello, Fernand. How are you?
Fine. How are you doing? Comment vas-tu, Monsieur Ariel?
Ça va très bien, mon ami. Et je vois que tu es avec les autres personnes là-bas. Le French Prince. Ça va, mon ami?
Ça va, et toi?
Hey, French Prince too big time to come on the show, but it's okay. After he wins, he's going to come on, yeah?
Fucking good.
That's right. That's all good. I know you're very busy. How crazy has it been? I see a camera right behind you, Fernand, over there. How crazy has this week been in Las Vegas for you guys? Is this crazier than the Ngannou fight last year?
Yeah, the craziest. This is the craziest, yeah. That's heavy.
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, you have to. I mean, whenever you have that kind of process, if you don't enjoy the process, then you become a victim. So you just enjoy the process.
Okay, so this is a little bit awkward because I'm going to be asking you questions about a guy sitting right next to you. I've never done this before. So I hope you don't mind. I hope neither of you mind. I didn't know it would be like this, but such is the life.
I would ask him to have to listen to music.
Yes.
And I would ask him to just, not listen what I would say. Right?
Okay. This is a big opportunity for your guy, Ciryl Gane. Last year, it didn't go his way, and we know how much that hurt him. Do you feel like he learned lessons from that first fight, that first title fight, and now he's maybe a little more comfortable in the spotlight, main event, especially after the Paris fight too? Like, do you feel like he has evolved, matured a lot since last year?
Absolutely. Sport standpoint, I mean, like, he did a good job. You had a great camp and also experience. I mean, you know how to deal with media now. He was saying in the press conference that the media are still allowed, but because of him knowing this is the third time that he's going for the belt, you know how he works, and so he can deflect that. And I think in the team, all the team, we start to understand how this works, and we're more confident and even more, enjoying the process.
One of the interesting things about the fight is the question, who is actually going to fight Ciryl on Saturday? Which Jon Jones will it be? Will it be a slower Jon Jones, an older Jon Jones? Has he lost a step? Is he motivated? Is he not motivated? All this stuff. Who are you expecting for your guy to fight on Saturday?
We are expecting the best Jon Jones ever, the one who beat DT the second time, the one who beat Samson the second time, the best one. That's what we're hoping to have.
So I expected you to say that, but is that realistic? I mean, it's been a while. He's bigger. Does the weight fit him the right way? Like, does he slow down? Is that truly realistic to think it's going to be the same Jon Jones?
I don't know, but I don't want to just assume that it will not be. It will be like heavy, but fat. I will not be there assuming that it will be less strong and then go there and get surprised. I rather prefer expecting the worst one, and then if I get there and it's not that accurate, it's not that creative, then that will be better for us, and that will be even more serious. But I prefer to think that we will have the stronger, the faster, the bigger, and the smarter that we ever had as Jon Jones, so we can prepare for a good fight.
Speaking of smart, do you think he is smart by moving up to heavyweight, or is he biting off more than he can chew?
No, it's smart to move there. I mean, I really think that when you have skills set like Jon Jones or Ciryl, the best move to do is to go up less. I mean, like, if all the light heavyweight there, I think that for them, if there's skill-wise, if they're very good, it's easy for them to go. That was easy for them before the new generation, like Jon Jones, like Ciryl Gane, like Thomas Pinal, like Dokos, those heavyweights that start to move and pick people apart and being smart. The thing become complicated. But a couple of years ago, that was a very good deal to go there, and that was easy to go there.
Could I ask, how much do you think Ciryl is going to weigh on Saturday?
I think around 112.
1 kilogram?
Yeah.
112 kilogram is 246.
Yeah, 246 pounds.
What do you think Jon is going to weigh? Do you have any sort of sense?
I think he will do more than that. He will be at least 250.
Wow. Do you think that's smart to be that much bigger?
Yeah, because again, he's not like everyone. He have a lot of skills, and he can use that to, he will know how to use the size.
Yeah. Speaking of which, do you think he's going to try to use his wrestling against Ciryl, considering what happened in the Ngannou fight? Are you expecting a lot of wrestling?
That's not a question. What I think is that he might just he will have Ciryl guessing. He will pretend that he's going for wrestling, and then try to bring the big knockout. You might just go there and wrestling for real. So you don't know. Just have to prepare yourself and be ready to adapt. If you go there and thinking that Jon Jones will come and shoot right away, you might just wrong. If you go there and think that Jon Jones will come and fake your wrestling and box you, he might just come there, take you down, and and lay on top of you and beat you all night. So you just have to be ready of everything.
Right. And speaking of training, and I know you've been asked this, but not by us, so I will ask you. Your guy Ciryl Gane caused a lot of ruckus when he said that he doesn't train outside of the fights, the training camps. He's lazy, quote unquote. I think it was a comment he made in French, so I don't know if it was mistranslated or something like that. Can you tell us, is any of this true? Is it true that he only trains when it's time to train for an actual fight, but in between training camps isn't training? And would you characterize him as he doesn't look like a lazy guy? So what do you make of this comment? Tell us the truth.
Well, that was true if you consider lazy being, if you can compare that to someone else. Like if you take Nassourdine Imavov is at gym 724. And Ciryl will see himself have someone lazy compared to Nassourdine Imavov. That's first thing. And the second thing is that, yeah, that's true. Ciryl used to be like that. And with the time, especially after the loss against Francis, we had that injury. And as soon as the injury was off, we started to train right away. Remember that when we won in Vegas for the fight of Nassourdine, we brought this guy, Reda Mabtouche, because he would have been the sparring of Ciryl, who was the cornerman of Nassourdine. So we knew, we started to train already. We were already training. So after the loss, that changed everything. But again, what you have to know is that maybe that's the good thing for Ciryl to be a little bit lazy, because Ciryl is different. You need that balance with a lot of time off, a lot of family moment, a lot of love around him. Maybe it's just different, and you cannot, you don't want to train him like you're training any other fighter and get him too busy. And you need to have that love and that momentum. That time off around him.
How do you expect the fight to play out on Saturday? What are you thinking right now? What are you feeling?
What I feel is that Jon Jones going to come there, God bless him, and he will have Ciryl just there, and Ciryl will be there on his face, and they will bank. What do you want me to say? Go there they will go there to hurt each other. I think people the misunderstanding exactly who is Ciryl Gane. Ciryl he has a dog on him that was born with that dog, and that dog, if you piss him up, he shows up. And now we're just trying to get that dog out before he even get pissed off.
Oh, okay. I like that. Do you think it goes 25 minutes?
I'm not sure. Actually, we are not looking 25 minutes. We really want to finish the fight. Ciryl said that he would like to be the first to finish Jon Jones, and so he's the captain on board, and we follow that and we try to make that happen.
Not just the first to finish Jon Jones, it'd be the first to legitimately beat Jon Jones. This would be a huge deal for you guys, historic.
Absolutely. You have the two birds with one stone. Like you just beat the god, and then you have the god at the same time, and that would be great. And if you have the third bird that you finish him before the time, then that would be a good year for Ciryl Gane 2023.
Are you nervous?
I am. Yeah, I'm definitely nervous because when you have your guy fighting, like Ciryl become like my brother, it become like my family. And whenever he's involved in something that is that important, I get involved myself. Like I'm emotional. I feel like this is ten. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like one of your kids fighting, right?
Yeah. It's a big kid. I will not say kid because it's so big, but
But I don't mean he's a kid. It's like you view him as he's like a son.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the feeling that I'm confident on what I've been done in the training camp, but still, this is MMA. Everything can happen. So you're there and you're nervous, you're scared, and you just You don't want to let any sun not unturned sun. You just want to make sure that you see everything and you work on everything. That's what I'm doing. And all the thing we are dedicated to that. We want that to happen. And it's scared. It's scared to go to that fact that there's so many things online. There's legacy online. There's everything for Ciryl online. And with Ciryl legacy goes my legacy.
Yes. And I'd be remiss, last thing to ask you, because we first were introduced to you with Francis. Are you surprised he left?
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm not. I'm not. The more important thing that we have to remember and keep that in mind is that if he's happy, then everything is good. If he finds his way to be happy, then that's good. If the UFC are happy to release him, and if he's happy, then it's good.
Well, I can't wait for Saturday. Bonne chance, bon courage à vous et à Ciryl, à toute l'équipe. And I look forward to seeing how this all plays out. Good luck to you guys.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you, Ariel, and have a good day.
Same to you. Bye-bye, Ciryl. I don't know if he can hear anymore. He's laughing. I don't know if he's laughing at me, but bon courage, hein? Bon courage. Bon courage.
Bon courage. Thank you, my friend. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Take care.
Take care. There he is. Bon gamin, a.k.a. the French Prince, Ciryl Gane, joining us. How about that? Hey, can we change the graphic and say Ciryl Gane was on the show? Would that be
deceiving?
Yes.
He was technically on the show.
I mean, he was sitting right there.
The third mystery guest.
You think you're going to be on Embedded?
Was that Embedded? Yeah, I saw the guy filming, and I was like, bro, like you're wasting your...
They'll blur it out. It'll just be the...
You're wasting your time, brother. You're wasting your time. Just got a text from my son, which is always very strange. And he said, can you please bring home some Prime? I mean, what is going on? First, Frank. Wow. I mean...
A man of good taste.
Yeah, I mean, geez Louise.
Did he say what flavor? Does he have a favorite flavor?
He just said, can you please bring home all the Prime, he said.
All right, now
that'll be an easy.
I'm going to need to make a phone call.
He's almost as greedy as Frank.
I mean, Frank,
how many Franks have you, how many Primes have you had today, Frank?
I've had one sports drink and one energy drink.
I mean, I'm sitting there at my desk doing work this morning, and then Frank comes walking out with 2 cases over each shoulder into the fridge.
He only knows about one case. Why did you mention the second?
Double fisting, Frank?
No, one, and then did the other later. What do you think of the lemon lime, by the way?
I actually really like it.
It's pretty tasty.
First time I try it.
Joe and I drink it on ice.
You know, the funny thing is, of course you do. I think people think we're actually sponsored by them. It was just KSI's guy that's like, oh, you want some Prime? I'll hook you up. Because Frank was talking about it so much. Like, hey, you think we could get some Prime?
I just want Connor to get the Prime costume. And then
that's sick.
Yeah.
I need one of those, man.
That is sick.
Can't lie, the energy drink, it's jam-packed with energy.
Is it? Would I be making a mistake if I had it?
Absolutely. Before the show?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Why?
I couldn't finish it.
Really?
I mean, I was buzzing. Heart beating.
Do you think that I would be burping and stuff? Because isn't it fizzy?
No. I mean, it's fizzy. It's not like that carbon.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't be worried about the burping. I would be worried about you, like...
The heart palpitations.
Too much energy.
Yeah.
Was it weird to be doing an interview with Fernand with Ciryl sitting right behind him over there?
It was a little weird.
I mean,
I saw that. I was like, oh, there's so. But I liked how he kind of zoned out through the hood on.
Yeah. No, that was good.
I mean, does that guy ever stop smiling?
Who, Ciryl?
It felt like he was just smiling in the background the entire interview.
Oh, he's the man. He's the absolute man. I enjoy him very much. And by the way, I was kidding when I said too big time. I prefer... I know some people don't want to hear this, but like I prefer the post-fight interview more than the pre-fight interview. At this point, in case you haven't realized the thought process, like I'd rather a Charles Oliveira interview now when a fight gets announced than a Charles Oliveira interview fight week. Same with Ciryl. I'd rather a Ciryl interview or anyone. Fight week interviews aren't great because they're in this mode, right? Like we often don't have a lot of fight week interviews, but then I love the post-fight interview. To me, the Monday, Wednesday after is the big one. More so than the pre-fight, because the pre-fight, they're doing a million interviews anyway, so it becomes a little watered down. Do you get my thought process? The sweet spot is when it's announced, because they're in the news, and then immediately after the fight. Fight week, not exactly the best time. Right? Yes, Ariel, you're right. We agree with you.
I was waiting for Frank to weigh in there.
I think you're absolutely right.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think Ciryl on Monday would be much better than Ciryl.
Sure. Here we are trying to convince ourselves that we couldn't, land the big fish. And yes, a lot of people ask me, oh, where's Jon Jones? The same thing. I would rather Jon after the fight than before the fight. Oh, you're going to talk to Jon Jones and you're going to talk about Dana White and not Jon Jones? Actually, there's a very good chance Jon doesn't want to come on the show because of the things that I've talked about with him. But I think I've always kept it 100 with Jon, if I'm being honest. I don't know what kind of questions he's getting this week, but I think he has appreciated that over the years. Maybe I'm crazy. Anyway, UFC 285, the time is now. The time has come. We got to make our picks. Now, is New York Rick going to join us? I know he's a bit under the weather. Said he was going to. I don't know how he's feeling now. He's here. What a legend. I'm here. Wow. How are you feeling?
I think I might be turning a corner.
Wow. This is the
feeling better.
It feels like you're. Is this coming through your microphone?
Yeah, could just be his voice too.
Yeah, maybe I'm just.
Maybe
tripping.
he sounds really sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feeling all right, man?
It should be coming through my microphone.
How do you feel about this, Frank?
I mean, look, it's fine.
Wow.
Another not so passive aggressive comment.
Yeah. Look, there were a lot of changes that needed to be made for that last interview, and Eric is on the same caller, so I hadn't heard him speak until now to make any adjustments.
Which last interview?
What do I need to do?
The Fernand
You don't
one?
need to do anything. Yeah.
Does the cough thing work here, or am I doing that into the microphone?
Is that what you did where it zapped earlier?
What's that?
Go ahead and just do a little test.
I just did it.
Yeah, I didn't hear you cough.
All right, perfect. I was just going to say, for as long as I've known you, New York Rick, I don't remember you ever being sick, A, or B, sick for this long.
You know what? I'm not even sick right now. Let's just forget it happened. I feel great.
I love it.
All right. It's mind over matter. Tremendous. All right, guys. UFC 285, it is here. I mean, I think that this is a big deal for New York Rick. Isn't Jon Jones like your favorite fighter of all time or up there?
He's up there for sure. And I believe we will see an impressive performance out of him. So yeah, I'm very excited about Jon Jones coming back.
Oh yeah. This is a big deal. This feels big. It feels special. It's not wasting any time. The Parlay Pals are going to kill it. Should we randomize this?
Let's randomize it.
Let's go.
Do it. Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun. I actually offered New York Rick, by the way. Oh wow.
Frank
first.
Taking the first spot.
I offered New York Rick to go first and just, mail in his response.
Get in and get out?
Well, because he wasn't, feeling...
Then we'll just move things along.
He can hang.
But here he is.
So that's me.
Frank is
my
first.
Frank, how are we feeling?
I'm a little more nervous about pronouncing this, but Duplessis, money line.
Almost nailed it.
Can I hear you say it?
It's Duplessis. You just don't pronounce that last S.
Ah, that last S looks so inviting, though.
South African. Yeah. Right into it, Frank. Right into it.
Duplessis. So that's your pick.
That is my
Duplessis
pick.
Just winning money line?
Money line.
Minus 240 against Derek Brunson, who I believe is fighting in his last fight. I don't know has he outright said that?
Yeah, I think he said
he said a few more.
Yeah, two more.
Oh, there you go. So he's fighting Derek Brunson, who's a plus 200. Important fight for Drickus because as we've discussed, if Alex Pereira beats Israel Adesanya, there aren't, I don't know, a ton of, well, here's the thing. If Izzy wins, then, there's literally no one. And he might get a title shot. If Alex wins, maybe there's a couple other guys, but some of those guys are on losing streaks. Drickus gets hit, but he wins. And
he does win.
He's a fun fighter to watch, so a big one for him. All right, who's next?
That brings us to me.
Okay.
I'm going to take a prop, but on one of the bigger favorites. I'm going to take Bo Nickel inside the distance, minus 650. Big price to pay, but feel confident in this one.
Wow.
Minus
Good job, man.
650 inside the distance. That's it. It doesn't have to be under 1.5.
No.
Over.
Just inside the distance.
Love it. Big opportunity for him opening the main card. Love the way they constructed this. Showcase fight, if you will, against Jamie Pickett. Chael said he lost some momentum. I beg to differ. Big spot for Bo.
He gets the momentum right back if he comes out here and gets a finish in the first round.
Bo and I are good friends, so I can say this. I don't love the new haircut.
I mean, I don't know.
The old haircut was cool. It was like Bart Simpson.
Cool.
Like
yeah,
it was different. He looked just different. Like now, this is too is too ordinary.
It's very similar to your haircut.
Yeah, and I'm ordinary. He's cool. Huh. Anyway, who's next? New York Rick?
That brings us to Rick.
It's me, and if you're going to leave Valentina Shevchenko out there, I'm going to take it. So I will be taking Valentina Shevchenko to win, money line.
Great.
Valentina Shevchenko minus 600.
Minus 800 now.
Minus 800? Wow.
Minus 800.
Are they not updating the site? What's going on here?
Yeah, listen, man. Sometimes best fight odds is slacking. I thought we were going to get a Cody Garbrandt pick out of you, Rick.
Are you referring to the great podcast No Bets Barred?
Yeah, man. I mean,
discussed that.
You couldn't stop talking about how much you love No Love.
I do like Cody here.
Wait a second. New York Rick made an appearance on No Bets Barred?
Oh, yeah. He was there. He had to plead his case for John's Bones Jones getting the win.
Available now on all platforms?
Available now. Every single platform.
Wow.
Any platform you can think of.
Love it.
Except for you.
Great guys. Never met them.
Tremendous. All right. So I guess I'm last. And by the way, shocked that these two are still on the board. I don't know which way to go.
Just go with the first one.
Well, the first one that comes to mind is Ian Gary over Keenan Song. Why are you laughing?
Kind of
just because this number we're about to put up is going to be.
Or, okay, the second one is Shavkat Rakhmonov and Jeff Neal.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, Ian Gary's a bigger favorite.
Yeah, pick your poison, whichever one.
Which one do you like better?
Gary.
Ian Gary gets us to plus 113, and Shavkat gets us to plus 125.
By the way, what's wrong with a plus parlay?
Nothing's wrong with it.
To quote Rick, if you're not doing a plus parlay, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Ian Gary.
Okay.
Did you not say that, New York Rick? Are you questioning that?
I mean, that's not really the right application of it. Like, yeah, we're doing a plus parlay, but you'd want to do a bigger plus parlay potentially. I was saying you shouldn't be doing a parlay in where you're getting minus money, but either way, doesn't matter.
Sure.
We just have to be thanking Frank for taking Duplessis at minus 225.
Yeah.
We really shipped it this weekend. We sold it.
Well, I gotta admit, last two, I've been taking some shorter odds. They didn't work out in my favor. I was trying to be a little bit of a hero. I'm gonna play it safe this time.
What are we gonna do? Like, it's just a bounce back.
I've picked a big favorite before and watched them lose. It doesn't feel great.
Hasn't happened.
I mean, odds give you no guarantee. Anyone can lose. That's for sure.
Well, the good thing about this card is there's a lot to like. There's a lot of options. I mean, we left Shavkat on the board, H'd out Jalen Turner, as we discussed. You mentioned Cody Garbrandt. So, yeah, there's a lot to like. There's a lot going on. But in the end, I'm going with Ian Gary.
Yeah, we all get to make our own picks.
All right.
No one has to tail this.
Okay.
Plus one.
Yeah, no one's forcing you, okay? Just have fun.
That's something that people seem to have a hard time understanding.
Have you downloaded it?
Oh, yeah.
It's
on Apple and Spotify.
Yeah, it's tremendous. All right, so there's the picks. There's the parlay. Now, how about your picks?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it, bro.
Let's start it off. First up.
Wow, what's this color scheme?
It's a gold color scheme, big pay-per-view. I try to make it feel special when it's a pay-per-view. Gotten this request quite a few times. I'm not really sure why people want it, but I'm a man of the people. What can I say? To gray out the fighter that I'm not picking.
Okay.
It's kind of cool. It's like a character select screen.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, I learned my lesson last week about betting against Canadian fighters, so I'm not going to repeat that this week, going with Marc-Andre Barriault. I mean, looking at the matchup, Julian Marquez, pretty dangerous dude. 9 wins, all 9 wins coming by finish. But when it comes to his striking defense, it just is not fantastic. And this is a matchup that, despite Marquez having pretty good submissions, I think this one is going to stay more on the feet, in the clinches. And I think Marc-Andre Barriault is either able to outpoint him or get a finish himself. One thing that does concern me is the knockout power of Julian Marquez, and we saw MAB get starched pretty bad against Chidi, but typically in most of his fights, he's pretty tough and he hangs in there. Another concern, seems like a ton of people are on Power Bar this week, and the line's not moving too much. So, do with that information what you will. Moving on, Frank. Getting me just a little bit more exposed on Mr. Duplessis here. I did take Dricus Duplessis to win against Eric Brunson.
I love that you use that terminology, by the way. I would never think to use that, a little bit more exposed. I feel like that's real insider stuff.
I mean, exposure is something that you definitely have to be very aware of. In,
These terms like this, tail, fade.
Did you put any action on that?
It's like a whole other universe. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing where, like, if you're overexposed, like, you're just that much more nervous. It's that much more costly if you end up being incorrect. So, like, now, speaking on exposure, I had 2.2 units on DDP. Now I have 2.7, so it just hurts that much more if he does lose. DDP is one of my more favorite fighters. I love watching him fight. KSW, shout out. He's exciting. I've backed him in every one of his UFC fights so far. And when it comes to this matchup, we talked about it. Derek Brunson, he's aging. He's 39 years old. He's only got a couple more fights before he's going to retire. And I feel like if this stays standing, it's DDP all day. He's probably going to end up knocking him out. We know that Derek Brunson is going to go to the wrestling. He's going to have to do it if he's going to have to win here. And the way DDP fights, so chaotic, so aggressive, I just think Derek Brunson is going to have to find success over the entire 15 minutes with that wrestling to get the win here, because if you look at his losses, 6 of his last 7 are by knockout. I think DDP is going to find a way to either knock him out on the feet or finish him via ground and pound on the ground. And I just don't know if 15 minutes, if Derek Brunson is going to be able to sustain that for 15 minutes. So I will take the much younger, much more aggressive fighter in Dricus du Plessis to get it done here. Next up, Cody Garbrandt, Trevin Jones. I took the under in this one. Trevin Jones, yes, he has never been knocked out. That doesn't mean you can't get knocked out. But Cody Garbrandt, of late, has struggled to not get knocked out. 4 of his 5 losses have come by KO. And Trevin Jones has power. I mean, we saw him knock out Bautista. We saw him finish Felipe. And on the flip side, I do think Cody Garbrandt is the better fighter in this situation. I feel like this is a massive step down in competition because those losses were against very top-tier opponents. And we've seen that he carries power. I mean, 8 of his last 10 fights have not seen the third round. So I think if he wins, there's a very real chance that he's finishing Trevin Jones. So in a situation with Garbrandt where we're just not sure where he's at in his career, how far gone his chin is. I know it held up in the Rob Font fight, but against a guy with power, he could get finished. Or if it works out that what I think he is the much better fighter, I think he can get the finish as well. So I took the under 2.5. Moving on to the main card.
Oh, yeah.
I took Bo Nickel by sub. This is when he still had the hair.
Oh, yes.
He's going against Jamie Pickett, 3-6 in the UFC. He's been finished in 4 of those. I mean, finished in the first round in 3 of them. And with this, you know, taking the exact at a minus money isn't the smartest thing to do, but Bo Nickel is a minus 2,000 for a reason. He's incredibly talented, and on the Contender Series, both of his wins came by submission. So you're getting that number dropped down from minus 2,000 to minus 124. What is his most likely path to victory? Obviously, you can't count out, you know, a TKO, a ground and pound. I doubt he's going to just like ice Jamie Pickett on the feet, but I wouldn't be surprised if he got him down and finished him that way. If this was Juice Moore, I probably wouldn't play it, but most likely scenario I see we walk away with on Saturday night is Bo Nickel winning by submission in the first round.
Oh man, I can't wait. There's just something about his dominance, his cockiness, his confidence that is intoxicating.
It really is.
Yeah.
Me and Rick talked about it on No Bets Barred last night. Like the professionalism, the way that he carries himself, and just like the dominance that he has. And I mean, he's confident, but when we talked to him just a few weeks ago, I mean, he was just like, the plan is to go out there and finish him in the first round. Yeah, but we're ready to go all 15 minutes. You know, it's if we don't do it in the first round, we're going to try and do it in the second. Doesn't work there, we'll try in the third, and then if it goes to a decision, we plan on getting a 30-25 dominant decision. So,
were you the one, by the way, that compared him to a first pick overall in football? Like he's just been groomed for these moments.
Yes,
like a quarterback.
It looks like. Yes, like he is literally like the star quarterback of an NFL team.
He's
like
Burrow. He's Joe Burrow. Like
that's the way. Yeah. He's cool. He dresses nice. You know, he's good on the socials. He's great in interviews. It feels like he's done good. I would imagine, you know, being in the spotlight for as long as he has, the success that he had at Penn State. I mean, I would imagine Penn State, with as good as their football program has been for however many decades, has a pretty good media training there. So yeah. Excited to watch him fight. Excited for his career. I mean, this could be the start of a really great UFC career.
By the way, you're about to get to this fight, but I'm seeing here a headline: Jeff Neal plans to quote fuck up your UFC 285 parlays with an easy win over Shavkat Rahman. Good thing we didn't choose him,
brother. I thought you were about to say that the fight was up.
Oh, my bad.
My stomach dropped.
My stomach dropped.
Yeah, I mean. Let's go to it then. Yeah, all right. My single play on the fight, that's okay if Jeff Neal fucks up my parlays with an easy win, because I did take the under 2.5. I mean, Jeff Neal, he's got knockout power. Like, he can finish dudes. He looked fantastic against Vicente Luque, and by all accounts, we don't really know, if Shavkat has like an ironclad chin on him. There's a world where Jeff Neal comes out here, and if he touches up Shavkat, that he could finish him. On the flip side, Shavkat Rakhmonov, 16-0, 8 wins by finish. All wins by finish, 8 wins by KO, 8 wins by sub. It's sort of just pick your poison with him. If Rakhmonov wins, I feel like it's likely going to be by finish. I was going back and watching the Neil Magny-Jeff Neal fight. Neil Magny found some success in getting him to the ground in the second and third round. Obviously, he wasn't able to hold him there. If Shavkat gets him to the ground, that could spell the end for him. Obviously, Jeff Neal's going to come in here confident. He's a much higher ranked fighter in this situation, but I think Shavkat is going to have success. I think he's going to be able to get him to the ground, and I think he'll be able to finish him there. So under 2.5, Jeff Neal has finishing capabilities on the other side. I feel comfortable with this play. I honestly thought the line was going to be a little bit bigger. Your H-Dow. My H-Dow too, I guess.
Oh.
Jalen Turner, I kind of botched this one.
Why? I
took it as soon as it opened. I took it at plus 165. I thought it was going to drop down. It kind of dropped for a minute and then shot back up. I've seen on some books like a plus 190 for Jalen Turner. I get it. Like, his weakness would be getting taken down and just kind of controlled. And Mateus Gamrot, if you go back and watch the tape, the dude is an absolute freak when it comes to the grappling. Go back and watch that Arman Sarukian fight. The scrambles in that one is insane. The path to victory is there for Mateus Gamrot. Things that do concern me is how lethal Jalen Turner is. He is on a 5-fight winning streak, all 5 wins coming by finish. Mateus Gamrot is also coming in on short notice. Minus 225, short notice. I also just love Jalen Turner. I got a couple heart plays on this one. They don't always work out for me, but Jalen Turner, if he's able to stuff some of these takedowns, 77% takedown defense, yes, you can go back to the Frivola fight where, he got taken down in that one. But if this stays standing, the size advantages he's going to have, the finishing capabilities that he has, there is a world that he gets this done. A little bit more of a heart play, botched the line, not my best bet in history, but I will be rocking with the tarantula. As soon as I see him getting that octagon, hopefully he's got the spider web shaved into the side of the head. All my nerves will be quelled. I'll be ready to go. Let's get to the main event.
By the way, have you seen that filter on TikTok where you can have I'm sure Rick has seen this, a tarantula like crawling on your face?
No.
It's great. It's so real.
I'm not gonna lie. I looked up like some gimmicks surrounding this, so I just typed in tarantula into Amazon and saw what came up.
Yeah.
You can get like freeze dried tarantulas to eat.
Oh,
I would never do it, but
sounds delicious.
Sounds like something Frank would love.
It's something that really piqued my interest, and I read some reviews, and like people, seem to enjoy them.
Oh, all hairy and shit. Oh.
There was one guy that was like, "Oh, it's fuzzy like a peach." Another guy was really upset that the spider was crumbled up. He was like, "Oh, the legs were all over everywhere." Like I was hoping for
like an actual looking tarantula.
Yeah.
You gotta eat it like beef jerky. You just chew on it.
I could have primed it too. I could have gotten it here by Saturday and ate one.
I'll find a tarantula. Don't you worry.
Jesus.
I still have somewhere. I got Frank's lollipop with the bug in it. Yeah, there it is. I'm still a little squeamish about this. You ever gonna pop this thing open, Frank?
You're supposed to eat that.
There's a cricket in it. I'm not gonna eat it. Thanks though. Main event.
Here it is.
Yeah. So it's like, how can you pick against Jon Jones? He's one of the greatest fighters.
You could pick against him. I thought he lost his last fight. It's the craziest thing in the world.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
I was going to say the drum roll. It's really not that exciting.
Okay.
It's also, I feel like it's, we're leading up. Yeah, I was going to say, I might go a little bit longer here. It's an impossible fight for me to feel confident.
I love the buildup, by the way, that you haven't shown it on the screen just yet. This is brilliant. I don't know if you're doing this on purpose, but I'm dying.
Of course I'm doing it on purpose.
I'm dying.
I have no way to feel incredibly confident about this fight. Jon Jones, he is one of the best fighters in UFC history. That's inarguable. Best fighter, period, in history. But he is coming back from a 3-year layoff. He is moving up a weight class and coming from a weight class where he did use size to his advantage in a lot of those matchups. What's he going to look like? 32 years old to 35 years old. There's so many question marks surrounding it. I can't blame you for playing Jon Jones because of how fantastic he is. He could come out here and make this look easy. We don't know. But with all the question marks surrounding him, the move up, what I didn't go heavy.
Oh.
I took Bongamon. I took Ciryl Gane. by decision, plus 333. The reason I did that,
don't hate it. Jon
Jones. First of all, he's never lost. You know, I mean, the one on his record was obviously, you know, by a disqualification. He's tough as a $2 steak. Me and Rick talked about it. I mean, you are going to have to put him out if you're going to finish him. There's no quit in this guy. Ciryl Gane, yes, he fights at heavyweight, but he's not, you know, the most prolific finisher out here. He's usually TKOing his opponents. I don't really see that happening against Jon Jones unless something has really gone off the rails here. I see this being an incredibly close fight. I think if someone's going to blow one out, I think it would be Jon Jones doing that to Ciryl Gane. I think if Ciryl Gane wins, it's going to be a closely contested decision. And at the number, I mean, Ciryl Gane's sitting at like plus 140, plus 145, getting about 200 extra points to take it by decision. I threw a little sprinkle on it. I don't have a ton of confidence either way. There's just too many unknowns for me to unload the clip on a play, but Ciryl Gane by decision, and if money keeps coming in on Jon Jones, like if we're looking at a Ciryl Gane like plus 175, plus 180, plus 190, who knows, come fight night, I might throw another half unit on just his plain money line.
Wow. We
could come back here on Monday and be like, wow, you bet against Jon Jones. He was sitting right there for you at minus 160. But who knows? We'll see. Cannot wait for this fight. It should be absolutely electric. Got a couple parlays.
Oh, yeah?
Chalk donkey parlays, man. I'm just taking all the juice. I'm okay with it. No Bickle. Shavkat Rakhmonov, Valentina. Another one.
By the way, this is a minus parlay, I guess, because it's less legs?
Less legs. Big time minus parlay. I'm not the one that said it. I'll eat chalk all day. I have no shame.
I don't understand
I'm a juice
this.
boy. I'm a chalk donkey. Call me whatever you want. I do not care. These are my plays. You don't have to take them.
Also, to that point, when I was talking about Tatiana, and I was like, wow, you know, I noted last weekend that I think 85% of the bets were on Montana De La Rosa. And then I was going to text you and be like, man, I don't know how you deal with these people because they're like, well, of course, there's no value in minus 750. To me, there's more value in placing $10 on Tatiana because she's such a sure thing at minus 750 than $1 on Montana De La Rosa at plus 500 because there was no shot. Do you understand what I'm saying? When there's no shot, there's no shot.
You're getting into the it's a hotly contested thing. You're getting into the just pick winners argument. There is value in betting. There is mathematical stuff in betting. Yeah, it's tough to do the just pick winners thing. It just all depends on how much of a chance you actually give someone. If you really want to get down to the very deepness of it, like if you gave Montana De La Rosa like a 25% chance of winning last week, then like you had to play her. It's, I don't know. Anyone who comes to you, you just got to ignore. They're your picks.
I just couldn't believe people are like, of course, there's no value in minus 750. Yeah, you dolts. She's a sure thing. As sure as the sun rising tomorrow. So $10 on her is better than $100 on the person who's not going to win.
I see.
Yeah, but that's only the two possible options that you're giving, right? There's also opportunities to put money on other bets that are not Tatiana Suarez, right? So therefore, you need to squeeze value out of it. Otherwise, you're wasting.
Well, I see what they're saying. There's also a beautiful argument that's made, you know, that like people who rip on people that take favorites, it's like, you know, there's no value, take the dog, everything like that. And then when it's all said and done, if the favorite wins, it's just like, well, of course they won. They were the big favorite. They were supposed to. And then if they lose, you know, they can just rip on you. It's a very nice strategy to play.
Mm.
You know, just always do that. Either way, whoever you want to bet, just bet on that. I really don't care. I mean, it's what you said. How these people are all over it all the time. One last parlay though. Prop parlay over 1.5 in the co-main and the main event, minus 141. If you look at them, I mean, shockingly for a heavyweight main event, Jon Jones, 15 of his last 16 have gone over 1.5. Gane, 8 straight have gone over 1.5. Shevchenko, 13 over 14 in the UFC have gone over the 1.5, and Grasso, 8 over 10 have gone over the 1.5.
There you have it.
There it is.
For more, No Bets Barred, featuring special guest
New York Rick,
out right now.
Out right now
on all platforms.
All platforms.
Feel better, New York Rick.
Thank you.
God bless. And by the way, those footsteps that you're hearing, them's the New York Knicks coming after your number 4 seed Cavs. Just want to let you know. All right? Just want to let you know.
I'm truly terrified. This is my terrified face.
That's them. That's them. There he is, New York Rick, joining us. Thank you so much. By the way, Frank, some breaking news. Bellator announcing that they have signed former U.S. Olympic wrestling team member and 4-time NCAA All-American from your Oklahoma State Cowboys, the one and only Jordan Oliver. That's a big-time signing for Bellator and for fans of collegiate amateur Olympic wrestling. They say that he is going to make his featherweight debut later on this year. So how about that? Jordan Oliver jumping over to Bellator. From time to time, they have done very well with these blue chip Olympic/collegiate wrestling greats. And they're hoping for the same with Jordan Oliver. And I think another or two still to come as far as Bellator is concerned. I'm wondering what David Taylor is going to do. Remember, he was in studio back in November talking about all of this. But no word yet on him. And speaking of breaking news, earlier today, we had the Chad Mendes, Eddie Alvarez, Platinum Perry, Luke Rockhold announcement. By the way, GC, I didn't ask you. What'd you think? Into it? Hate it?
Yeah.
Love
I'm
it?
going to watch it. No doubt I'll watch it.
Kind of wild, right?
Yeah.
Out of left field a bit. Didn't expect Luke to do that.
Field.
Eddie? Interesting. I think a lot of people thought PFL for Eddie, Bellator for Luke, given the relationship with Scott Coker, BKFC, a real player now. How about that? A legitimate player. Love
Frank
it.
said he's going to tune in too.
Frank going to tune in. $49.99. And by the way, I heard about this platform that they're talking to. If it pans out, and I hate being that guy, but I don't think it's a done deal. That would be pretty interesting too. So stay tuned for that. A lot of exciting things going on. We have officially entered March. Best part about the next 2 months? No Apex events. But you got this weekend, Jon Jones, Ciryl Gane. Next weekend, Merab Dvalishvili against Piotr Yan. What a great fight that is. Following weekend, Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. Following weekend, Corey Sandhagen versus Chito Vera. Woo-wee. April 1st weekend, no UFC, but you got Game Bred Boxing, debut of PFL, NCAA Final Four basketball, also wrestling, WrestleMania, Saturday and Sunday. I mean, just a ton of stuff. Then we've got Izzy versus Pereira. Then we're rolling. Second PFL event. Bellator's next weekend. I mean, there's just a lot. There's a lot going on, Frank. I hope you're ready for all of this. We are entering a crazy stretch. And then, then you got May 6th coming. I mean, there's just a lot. There's a lot going on. I am very bummed. We got the word yesterday. No Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano rematch May 20th. But maybe there's a silver lining. Maybe this means we can get them fighting at Croke Park later on in the year. And I was worried about this. Serrano fighting back in early February. Could she turn around 3 months' notice and fight such a big fight? Felt like squeezing in a little too much. Still unclear as to what the status of her injury is, but wouldn't be surprised if it's tied to the fact that she just fought a month ago. I mean, literally less than a month ago. It was February 4th, I think it was. So that was like 4 weeks ago. So crazy stuff. What are we going to talk about on Monday? What are we going to be saying when I sit in this chair on Monday? When we turn this camera on, are we going to talk about holy smokes, Jon Jones is back? Holy smokes, he defied all logic and knocked out Ciryl Gane in the first round. Holy smokes, he's rejuvenated, motivated, reinvigorated. Or are we going to say that it was too big of a jump, that he bit off more than he can chew, that he doesn't look right at heavyweight, that Gane is younger and faster and more powerful and more athletic at this point in his career? What are we going to say about Valentina Shevchenko? What are we going to say about Alexa Grasso? What are you going to say about pissed off Valentina trying to prove everyone who is saying that she is past her prime, that her days are numbered atop the flyweight division? What are we going to say about her and the state of her career? What are we going to say about Bo Nickel? Does he continue to roll? What are we going to say about Shavkat Rakhmonov? What are we going to say about Jalen Turner? Is his trajectory going to keep on going up? And what about Ian Gary and the state of Cody Garbrandt's career? So many questions to be answered on Saturday. I can't wait. I know you all can't wait as well. And I can't wait to come back on Monday to talk about it all. For now, though, at a time. The boys will be back in here on Saturday night for the watch party, so do check that out right here on this YouTube channel.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah. Still waiting for my invite,
Yeah,
but I'm
keep
busy.
waiting. Yeah.
I'm busy on Saturday, okay?
Oh, okay.
Don't bother me.
The Prime will be here and you won't be.
I got an invite brewing for you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We'll see. What are you going to do about May 6th if they go to New Jersey? What are you going to do about that one?
Go to New Jersey.
No watch party? Do the watch party from Prudential.
Yeah, what am I going to do? Stream it on my phone?
Call up my guy Dylan. By the way, they've got a great venue in Jersey City. What is it called? The
Great White Eagle or something?
Something like that. Maybe do it from there in front of a live studio audience. I mean, the possibilities are endless. I'm just throwing them out here. I'm not a part of this whole thing. This is your thing. This is your thing. The moment I say goodbye, by the way, I want to let everyone know, the moment I say goodbye, they tear this thing down quicker than, a pit stop in NASCAR.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like,
You
all
want
right,
out?
can you get out of the way? Throw my toys to the corner. Everyone drinks my Prime. They're like showering in the Prime, throwing all my stuff. I'm like, wow. You don't even wait for me to leave.
Don't take it personally.
I mean, it's a little, it's like, can you get out of the way, Helwani? Like, shoo, move.
It's like when you hang up on me when I call you.
1,000%. What a day it has been. Thank you very much to all our guests. What about Dave Feldman stopping by? Thanks and congrats. Thank you very much, Eddie Alvarez. Thank you very much, Luke Rockhold. Great job, Luciana Andrade. Thank you very much, Charles Oliveira. Thanks to Fernand Lopez and Ciryl Gane for stopping by. Enjoy UFC 285 back on Monday. Same time, place, same. I'm out of here.